Chapter 54:49. Looking at Long Mu rushing over, Murong Qingcheng and the others looked as though they were facing a great enemy. This was an existence that had surpassed the holy scriptures. Lin Xian snorted coldly and took out the heaven-devouring jar without hesitation. A terrifying aura spread out as this attack blocked Long Mu. Long Mu was forced back as well. His face was terrible. "Kid, just you wait. I don't believe that you can control the extreme-grade weapon forever. When you run out of energy, it'll be your death." Long Mu did not attack. The extreme-grade weapon was strong, but it was the weapon of the Emperor after all. The other saints could not control it, unless they used heaven-defying resources. Furthermore, they had already fought outside the tomb of the Emperor and used their extreme-grade weapons. In fact, they had even fully recovered. They did not have much energy left after this. They would not use their extreme-grade weapons easily. Once they ran out of energy, they would not be able to use their extreme-grade weapons. That would be the true disaster. Therefore, after entering, the other Emperor race beings did not use their extreme-grade weapons easily against the Qiongqi. This was a trump card that could only be used at the most critical moment. Faced with such a threat, Lin Xian snorted coldly. He did not care at all. He stared at the black crystal in his hands. The others cast their gazes over as well. The eyes of many Emperor race beings turned red. This thing definitely contained an unparalleled amount of energy. When the Dragon Sea Master caught sight of it, his eyes dilated as he exclaimed, "This was an Emperor God crystal." When the other powerful beings of the Emperor race heard it, they exclaimed as well. To think that it would be such an item. Evidently, this was an ancient race that had records of this mysterious item. It contained an unparalleled amount of energy and was extremely precious. The elder of the Phoenix race gasped. This thing was incredible. It was extremely rare to come across one. The elder of the Gu race gasped as well, as expected of the means of the Emperor race. To think that he would casually create a puppet for such a precious item. The Emperor race was indeed an existence that they could only look up to. When the others heard it, they were even more envious. Lin Xian's luck was way too good, wasn't it? Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. Oh, this was even more precious than he had imagined. Very well, I shall accept it then. After accepting the Emperor God Crystal, Lin Xian looked at the Qiongqi again. Its defense was extremely tough. Even with so many sacred ancestors attacking it, they were still unable to breach its defense. Obviously, it was also made of special metals and materials. Therefore, it was also a treasure. He had the Crimson Dragon put it away. He might be able to use such a powerful puppet in the future. When the others saw this, their eyes turned red, but no one dared to make a move for the time being. The Emperor clan people said that it wasn't good to clash with him right now. Even though this thing was precious, it wasn't to the point where they had to risk their lives. Only when they entered the real ancient tomb would they be able to find something good. The others nodded in agreement. Then, everyone set off again. Lin Xian and the others also set off, continuing to walk inside. After passing through the mountain range, they suddenly discovered a mountain peak. That mountain peak was incomparably majestic, as if it was formed by countless coiling dragons. Even Lin Xian was amazed by the mountain peak, Dragon Mountain. At the real location of the ancient tomb, everyone took a deep breath. They could feel the might of the great emperor here. This was the place where the earth was buried. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand and soared into the sky. He was going to lead his people up Dragon Mountain. The other great emperor clans and remote antiquity clans also followed after seeing this. One by one, figures rose into the air and flew forward at high speed. When they reached the 9 heavens, they saw Dragon Mountain. It was really too majestic. The mountains and rivers above were even more terrifying than the surroundings. It was like a real immortal world. This was great. These people were excited. If they stayed on Dragon Mountain, even if they didn't enter the ancient tomb to search for treasures, they would be able to advance by leaps and bounds just by cultivating here. They were wild with joy. However, at this moment, there was a loud and clear dragon roar on Dragon Mountain. Then, the void around Dragon Mountain cracked open, and black figures appeared one after another. As soon as they appeared, a terrifying aura swept through the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Immediately, Those people were blasted away. Those who flew too fast spat out mouthfuls of blood and flew backwards. His men also stopped one after another, looking ahead in bewilderment. What was that thing? The people of the Gu clan exclaimed. Was there another puppet? The people of the Purple Mansion also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. The one who came was the Purple Mansion Lord. Xiaoying was killed earlier, and Yao Guang was seriously injured and didn't come. Therefore, their strength had been greatly damaged, and they became very careful now. Lin Xian and the others also frowned. They felt that the situation ahead was extremely terrifying. In front of them, there were many tall figures. They wore battle armor and held ancient weapons in their hands, standing in the sky. They were expressionless. However, the dragon aura on their bodies was incomparably terrifying. Behind them, the people of the Thousand Dragon Court also exclaimed, "What a powerful dragon aura!" Long Mu was indeed shocked. Could it be the legendary Dragon Way elite soldiers? As the tombkeeper of the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb, although Long Mu hadn't really entered the ancient tomb, she still knew some things about the ancient tomb. She knew that there was a group of even stronger guardians on Dragon Mountain. They were called the Dragon Way elite soldiers. However, she had never seen them before. Now that she saw these figures, she exclaimed. After hearing this, the others also discussed. The Dragon Way elite soldiers were obviously the Dragon Emperor's methods. The people of the Qilin race frowned. The Dragon Way elite soldiers' aura wasn't as majestic as before, but there were too many of them. They far surpassed Qiongqi. There was only one Qiongqi, but there were 49 of them in front of them. They lined up neatly in the void, and the power on their bodies seemed to be able to pierce the sky. In front of them, there was a man standing on a divine dragon. He held a divine sword in his hand and shouted coldly. This was the resting place of the Dragon Emperor. Those who trespass would be killed without mercy. After speaking, he waved the long sword in his hand, and a large crack appeared in the sky. Obviously, if one stepped over this line, they would die without a doubt. The toad exclaimed, "It can talk? Could it be a living expert?" Lin Xian used his Rinnegan and frowned. "No, it should be a puppet, but it's of a higher level." After speaking, he snorted coldly. "I want to see how you're going to kill without mercy." As he spoke, he walked forward. Did Lin Wudi make a move? The other experts were still hesitating whether or not to make a move. However, Lin Xian had already made a move. This guy was too arrogant. They were all watching. Lin Xian took a step forward and flew forward. The middle-aged man in front of him emitted a shocking light from his eyes, turning into a bolt of lightning that was hundreds of meters long. It instantly pierced through the 9 heavens. Those who trespass would be killed without mercy. The long sword in his hand was raised high and fell down. Boom! The sword cut through heaven and earth, descending like a river of stars. Lin Xian sneered and punched out. The resplendent fist was like the sun, shining in all directions. He resisted the sword energy head-on. Chapter 5450. The two sides started fighting in an instant. Everyone was shocked. Murong Qingsheng and Yin Ruyu also let out cries of surprise and instantly charged over. The people from the Divine Union made their move. The eyes of the others flickered when they saw this. The elder of the Phoenix tribe sighed. Let's give it a try too. There was no chance for them to reap the benefits. They charged over. That was indeed the case. The Dragon Emperor had set up this way. If they could break through, they could continue. If they couldn't, they would either die or return. They couldn't let them win without a fight. Therefore, the people from the Phoenix tribe made their move. The people from the Gu family and the Z Mansion also made their move. Everyone else made their move. However, the moment they rushed up the Dragon Mountain, they were stunned. Many people were instantly torn into pieces. Damn it! How could it be so terrifying? When they saw that Lin Xian could withstand it, they thought that they could do the same. However, they didn't expect this power to far exceed theirs. It wasn't something they could handle. A Dragon Path elite soldier waved the long blade in his hand and swept it in all directions. More than 10 elites were sliced in half. Sacred blood was scattered all over the place. It was too strong. Even the people from the Monarch tribe were terrified. He was indeed the Dragon Emperor. The people he had chosen to guard the Dragon Mountain were too strong. Damn it! Did they have to use the Emperor weapon? The people from the Kuan Pong tribe gritted their teeth. The people from the Chilan tribe also frowned. They didn't act rashly. If they had to use the Emperor weapon just to enter the Dragon Mountain, there was no need for them to continue. After all, the Dragon Mountain was even more dangerous. How many times could they use the Emperor weapon? The power they had was limited. Kuan Pongzi also shouted angrily, "Don't use the Emperor weapon for now. Charge with all your might. Those who can't make it, retreat and save your lives." Lin Xian also roared. Those from the Divine Union who couldn't resist, retreat. The people from the Divine Union were also affected. Many people's bodies were torn apart. They had no choice. Each of the 49 Dragon Path elite soldiers was extremely strong. Even the double champion might not be able to deal with them, let alone the others. What was even more frightening was the fact that these 49 Dragon Way ambush weapons had formed a peerless formation when they were combined. It made their scalps go numb. This kind of array formation was really too strong. Although it wasn't as strong as the Great Emperor's array formation outside, it was still far stronger than an ordinary sage's array formation. Many people were instantly pierced by this peerless dragon head array, their bodies nailed to the void. A sea of blood spread between heaven and earth. Seeing this, the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty felt their scalps go numb. Even if they relied on their own strength, it would still be very difficult for them to pass through. Even if they managed to get through, the number of people would be greatly reduced. It would be difficult for even 1% of them to get through. Long Mu took a deep breath and pierced his heart with his dragon claw, letting the blood drip out. Then, he drew the runes of the dragon race with great reverence and kowtowed 3 times and 9 times. When he spoke, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty disciples all obeyed. The other members of the Dragon Clan would have to rely on their own abilities. The Dragon Sea Clan, Lightning Dragon Clan, Wind Dragon Clan, and the others all sighed. Although they were all from the Dragon race, only the 10,000 Dragons Dynasty was created by the Dragon Emperor. The other dragon races didn't have the Dragon Emperor's bloodline. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty did the same. They pierced their hearts and used their blood to cover their bodies to reduce the damage. They were the descendants of the Great Emperor. Although they weren't as strong as the Dragon Prince, they were still the descendants of the Dragon Emperor. Therefore, they could more or less be of some use. These people also soared into the sky and rushed over. More and more people were retreating from the front. Although they were unwilling to give up, although they were reluctant, they would probably die if they tried to attack again. After all, many of them had already died. The sea of blood spread. Those people could only grit their teeth and retreat. Most of the people from the Divine Union also retreated. Only the clan leaders of the various large sects and families, as well as the top elites, could continue forward. For example, Murong Qingqing, Bai Susu, and the others couldn't do it. In fact, it wasn't just the Divine Union. It was the same for the Monarch Clan, Clan of the Ancients, and Dragon Clan. Most of them were blocked. A small number of people tore through the line of defense and landed on the Dragon Mountain. After they landed, they could feel the astonishing nomological power surrounding them, enveloping them. There was a large tree in front of them with many dragon-shaped fruits on it. There, they swayed and bloomed with extremely terrifying power. After the Crimson Dragon saw it, he exclaimed in surprise. This was the legendary dragon spirit fruit. His figure flashed, and he rushed over in an instant. Little White seemed to have been summoned and rushed over from the sword world. She squeaked and stepped on cotton clouds, turning into a bolt of lightning. Her speed was even faster than the Crimson Dragon's. In an instant, she was in front of them. With a wave of her little claws, she grabbed 2 dragon scale fruits. The dragon scale fruit transformed into a huge dragon. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws, trying to counterattack Little White. In the end, it was knocked unconscious by Little White's claw. Good stuff. Quickly snatch it. When the others came up, their eyes turned red. The things on the Dragon Mountain were definitely shocking treasures. The Gu clan's elder appeared and disappeared mysteriously, using his spatial ability. He immediately snatched 3. The Phoenix Clan, Purple Mansion Clan, and the other clans also made their moves. A great battle broke out instantly. On the Divine Union side, by Susu, and the others also made their moves. Elder brother Xian and Morong Qingqing looked at Lin Xian, wondering why he didn't make a move. Yin Ruyu was also surprised. She couldn't help but want to make a move. Lin Xian's lips curled up. How could he not make a move? Look. He took out the heaven-swallowing jar and charged forward. A black vortex appeared, swallowing the heavens and the earth. The surrounding people were enveloped by the vortex and instantly screamed, "Damn it! It's an extreme aura! Retreat!" They frantically retreated. The Purple Mansion Master's face changed as he opened his palms. The great desolate heaven-splitting palm tore a large crack to block the attack. The Gu clan's people were the fastest. Their spatial ability was unpredictable, so they didn't dare to resist. Everyone retreated at this moment. They looked at Lin Xian in shock. Was this guy crazy? In order to snatch the dragon scale fruit, he actually used an extreme weapon. Did this guy have a lot of power in his hands? If he used it like this, what would happen next? However, in the next moment, they were dumbfounded. The Dragon Clan's people were also stunned. They realized that the heaven-swallowing jar had directly swallowed the entire dragon spirit tree. In the next moment, the ground in front of them split open. The tree with the dragon spirit fruit had already disappeared. There was only this crack left. Heavens, what did I just see? He took the entire tree away. The surrounding people were dumbfounded. One had to know that they had only managed to snatch a few dragon spirit fruits. Now that someone had made a move, the entire tree was gone. At the back, the Thousand Dragon Dynasty's people were roaring in anger. Damn Lin Wudi, don't be too arrogant. The Gu clans and the Purple Mansion clan's people were also furious. They handed over the dragon spirit tree. They walked over one after another, filled with killing intent. Lin Xian was really too domineering. Chapter 54-51. Lin Xian's actions made even Morong Qingqing and the others dizzy. It was indeed too domineering. Whitey clapped her little paws and laughed. I like it. The toad also jumped up. Well done. Give me more later. The other experts were indeed enraged, and they were all furious. Lin Wudi, hand over the dragon spirit tree. You want to take it all for yourself? Too arrogant. Do you really think we don't exist? Lin Xian didn't care at all. He looked at these people and took a step forward as if he wanted to die. If you don't want to die, get lost. If you provoke me, I'll use an extreme weapon to suppress you. He shook the heaven-swallowing jar in his hand and waved. Let's go. Just like that, the group swaggered away. The surrounding people vomited blood, but no one dared to make a move. Zifu gritted his teeth. Let's go. Let's enter the Dragon Mountain first. The people of the Qilin race also said, forget it. They would definitely teach him a lesson next time. Behind them, Long Mu and the others vomited blood. This was a tree planted by the Dragon Emperor. Just like that, it was taken away by someone? Damn it. They gritted their teeth and swore that when they found the Supreme Array, they would use the Array's power to kill it. Lin Xian and the others took the lead again. Lin Xian quickly planted the dragon scale fruit in the sword world. He was overjoyed. This tree had indeed grown for tens of thousands of years. The power on it was too strong. Although it wasn't an immortal god tree, it was far stronger than an ordinary king herb. It was right to come to the Dragon Emperor's tomb. Lin Xian smiled. He was different from the others. The others only wanted the best treasures, so they cherished using extreme weapons. But Lin Xian was different. Lin Xian wanted power. He wouldn't let go of anyone he passed by. Therefore, once he took a fancy to something, he would take it with lightning speed. He wouldn't leave it for those people. The legendary Dragon Emperor's tomb was in the Dragon Mountain. Where was it? These people began to search. The people of the 10,000 Dragons Court were also searching. At this moment, the blood on their hearts dripped down again. They quickly flew above the ground. Then, in front of him, the Dragon Mountain shook and an entrance appeared. It was an ancient cave. When he appeared, it was as if the world had been created. 10,000 dragons roared, and the entire Dragon Mountain shook violently. The surrounding great Tao interweaved and swept in all directions. At this moment, everyone's blood was boiling. Quickly block it. At that moment, the people from the imperial clans had no choice but to unleash enormous power to resist. Those who did not have extreme weapons were forced to kneel on the ground by this force, facing the front, prostrating and prostrating. It couldn't be helped. This was the might of a great emperor. It wasn't shameful for them to kneel to a great emperor. On Lin Xian's side, he naturally had an extreme Dao weapon to block this power. They were also shocked. This was the entrance to the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. After entering, they would enter the true tomb of the great sovereign. How could they not be excited? The great emperor stood at the pinnacle of the myriad worlds, sweeping through all directions and crushing the universe. What kind of treasures would they find in the other party's tomb? Great! The tomb of the Dragon Emperor has been opened. Long Mu and the others were so excited that they were about to cry. On the other hand, the people of the Gu family were delighted. The two elders sneered. Good opportunity. Charge. Here, what mattered was speed. The treasures that they saw first, they had to snatch them first. The two of them used their void divine abilities and rushed forward. Their speed was very fast, and they arrived in front in an instant. However, in the next moment, an extremely terrifying message erupted from the cave of the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. It directly sent the two of them flying. The two elders' bodies were shattered, and they vomited large mouthfuls of blood. They were seriously injured. Damn it! How could this be? These two elders had gone crazy. Their spatial divine abilities could teleport and shuttle at will. Now, they were actually blocked. When the Qilin's son saw this scene, he sneered. How stupid. You guys are also from the great emperor's family. Don't you know the methods of the great emperor? Just like that, it was too ridiculous to want to enter. Damn it. The Gu family's elders were furious. You dare to look down on us? If you have the ability, go and open it. The Qilin's son snorted coldly. All right, just watch. As he said that, he walked out and took a deep breath. A trace of piercing cold light burst out from his eyes. As a member of the great emperor's family and the son of the great emperor, he naturally knew that the ancient tomb of the great emperor was very mysterious. Even if they found the entrance, they might not be able to walk in. However, there was another benefit to being the first person to enter. One had to know that since the great emperor's ancient tomb was buried, no one would enter it for tens of thousands of years. There was too strong an aura inside. After that aura was inhaled, it would definitely enter the body of the first person. It could even cause that person's physique to undergo a tremendous change. Therefore, after seeing it, the Qilin's son was eager to be the first to enter. He roared at the sky and transformed into his Qilin true form. Stepping on 10,000 flames, he rushed forward. As soon as he appeared, the surrounding people exclaimed. It was so terrifying. The Qilin's son's strength had become stronger than before. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. As expected of the emperor's son, his strength increased every day. He was indeed much stronger than when he was at the dragon transformation station. However, he was still no match for him. However, Lin Xian was puzzled. The Qilin's son had always been cold and calculative. Why did he want to take the lead this time? Just as he was thinking, an earth-shattering sound came from the front. With a series of rumbles, the entire dragon mountain shook violently. The Qilin's son was knocked back, and many of the flames on his body were extinguished. He gritted his teeth and roared crazily. Damn it, he couldn't enter. Qilin technique, Qilin trampling the sky. She took 7 steps in a row, and each step shattered the world. This was an extremely powerful force, a peerless divine ability of the great emperor's ultimate technique. This time, the entrance of the cave also shook violently. However, it did not shatter. Instead, it erupted with an even more terrifying aura. He forced the Qilin's son to retreat. The Qilin's son retreated and vomited blood. His face turned pale. Your Highness. The elders of the Fire Qilin clan also became nervous. Damn it, I don't believe it. Qilin arm. The Qilin's son roared angrily. He transformed into his human form, and a Qilin tattoo appeared on his left hand. It was very ancient. It was an immemorial Qilin. He roared at the sky, and his arm bloomed with endless light. It was as if it had transformed into the arm of an ancient god. He threw a punch. This punch emitted a mysterious and unfathomable aura. Wherever it passed, Heaven and earth shattered. It was enough to sweep through everything. When it hit the cave erupted with a shocking light. The light screen above shook violently, as if it would shatter at any moment. However, in the end, it was still intact. Instead, the Chelan arm shook violently. The Chelan son took 3 steps back. His face was pale. How could this be? The cave was right in front of him, but it made him feel despair. The others were shocked. No way, even the Chelan son did not succeed. Could it be that he was going to return empty-handed this time? Chapter 54-52. Seeing this scene, everyone was stunned. They didn't expect the Chelan son to be so powerful that even he couldn't enter. The others were even more hopeless. The elder of the Gu family sneered. You were so arrogant before. I thought you could enter. You. The Chelan son was so angry that he vomited blood. He gritted his teeth. He didn't attack because the situation here was indeed beyond his expectations. He didn't expect that he couldn't enter. He could only retreat angrily. I'll do it. The Purple Mansion Lord personally attacked. Purple energy surged into the sky from her body, scattering all the clouds in the sky. Then, she formed a huge purple palm print, and 9 huge palm prints rushed into the sky. Each of them was incomparably terrifying as they imprinted themselves in the air. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Cracks spread out in all directions. They hit the cave abode. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. This woman was too annoying. Her strength was terrifying, especially the peerless technique that she used. It was probably a lost technique from 50,000 years ago, but it was so powerful in her hands. However, no matter how powerful it was, it couldn't open it. The Purple Mansion Lord also gritted his teeth and left. Next, the elders of the Phoenix clan and the Kuanping clan also attacked. Some people even joined forces to attack, but they found that it was useless. They were all in despair. Heavens, could it be that they had no other choice? They all looked at the 10,000 Dragon Court. However, the people of the 10,000 Dragon Court weren't confident either. They all looked at Long Mu. As the Tomb Keeper, Long Mu said, I'm the Tomb Keeper. I can't be the first to enter. Otherwise, I'll instantly turn into ashes. F***CK. Everyone was in despair. Long Mu could be said to be the strongest one. He had 1 foot in the Saint Realm, and he was the most likely to open it. However, due to his identity, he couldn't attack. The people of the Purple Mansion gritted their teeth. It seemed that they could only use extreme weapons. The Fire Chelan also prepared to attack. They all wanted to be the first to enter. However, Long Mu snorted coldly. I advise you not to do that. This is the place where the Dragon Emperor is buried, and we also brought the 10,000 Dragon diagram. If you dare to use an extreme weapon, I can't guarantee what will happen to the 10,000 Dragon diagram. Because this was where its master was. He was right. Would the 10,000 Dragon diagram attack in the Dragon Emperor's tomb? Would it awaken? No one knew. Damn it. The Fire Chelan and the others also gnashed their teeth. They didn't dare to take this risk. Once the 10,000 Dragons diagram was awakened, even if they had other extreme weapons, they would still be able to use them. It seemed that it could only be a supreme treasure. If another great emperor's corpse appeared, no one would be able to stop it. It was better for everyone not to use it. The people from the Kuanping clan spoke. The other monarch clans also nodded. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes and asked, why are these people fighting to be the first to enter? One had to know that he had always been the one leading the way. The surrounding people had all followed behind him to reap the benefits. Now, these people were acting abnormally. The elder of the Phoenix race said through voice transmission, don't you know Lin Gongzi? The first one to enter the tomb of the great emperor would obtain a special power. The power came from the ancient tomb, so these people wanted to be the first to enter. Lin Xian was stunned when he heard this. In the next moment, his eyes lit up. So it was like this. Was it the mysterious power of the ancient tomb? Very well, I'll take it. He came this time to look for power. Now that there was such an opportunity, how could he miss it? So he said, if you can't do it, I'll do it. Was Lin Wudi going to make a move? Many of the clan of the ancients took a deep breath. Some of them were even excited. However, the Chelan clan, Zifu, and the others looked cold. They snorted coldly. They were really unhappy that the other party was in the limelight. Moreover, if the other party was the first to enter, he would definitely be able to obtain that power. So they gritted their teeth. But there was no other way. They couldn't open the supreme weapon now, and they couldn't use it easily. If they wanted to enter, they would have to rely on the other party. Let's see if this kid can open it. If he can, we'll go in. If he can't, it seems that they have to use the supreme weapon. The other monarch clans also sighed. Indeed, although using the supreme weapon here might anger the Dragon Emperor's corpse, if they really had no other choice, they could only fight with their backs against the wall. Everyone's gaze turned to Lin Xian as they became nervous. They didn't know if Lin Xian could succeed. Lin Xian was the first in the dragon transformation battle. He was extremely terrifying. His strength had increased in the past 5 years. He had killed Xiaoying. He had severely injured Yao Guang. Yao Guang was still seriously injured and couldn't come here, so everyone was still looking forward to seeing him. Behind them, the people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty gritted their teeth. Long Mu also snorted coldly. Kid, you're not qualified. Go back. Anyone could open it, but he didn't want Lin Xian to be the first to enter. Lin Xian sneered. I'm not qualified? If I'm not qualified, then you're not qualified to stand here. Today, I'm going to open the Dragon Emperor's tomb. No one can stop me. His voice was extremely firm, and each of his words was like thunder, echoing in all directions. At the same time, he took a step forward, and the flames on his body turned into a sun. Then, he charged forward. Boom! He slammed into it, and there was an intense explosion, but it didn't shatter. Lin Xian took a step forward, and the power of his divine body erupted. His fist was like a giant dragon as it slammed into it. An even more intense sound rang out. In Dragon Mountain, people couldn't stand steadily. Roar! At this moment, a low roar came from the cave. Then, Dragon Qi soared into the sky, and the terrifying power of the Tao of Dragons erupted. The entire Dragon Mountain seemed to have turned into a giant dragon, and it was roaring and shaking. It seemed to want to blast everyone away. The others were shocked. They soared into the air and began to defend. At the same time, they were shocked. How could such a change happen to Dragon Mountain? Damn it! What did Lin Wuti do? One punch had caused such a shock. One had to know that so many people were fine when they attacked. But when Lin Xian attacked, there was a crisis. All of them were likely to be sent flying. A voice appeared in front of them, and it turned into a great Tao that directly suppressed Lin Xian. It wanted to tear his body apart. Lin Xian's 9 Yang divine body rumbled under the impact. He roared angrily, and then he formed a seal with his palm, the light of the demon god. With him as the center, endless light erupted, illuminating all directions. It collided with these sounds. At the same time, a terrifying dragon roar erupted from his body. The two sounds collided, and the sky fell and the earth cracked. It was enough to shatter everything. Lin Xian knew how terrifying the cave ahead was. He didn't hesitate at all. Dragon scales appeared on his body, and he transformed into a dragon. A dragon shadow appeared. Lin Xian bared his fangs and brandished his claws as he charged forward. His dragon claws danced in the sky. Every strike was imbued with unstoppable power. Chapter 54-53. The two collided. The battle was too intense, causing the scalps of the surrounding people to tingle. They couldn't help but retreat. I wonder if Lin Wuti can break it? Kuan Pingzi frowned. On the one hand, they were eager to enter, and on the other hand, they didn't want Lin Xian to become stronger. So they were very conflicted. In the cave ahead, another roar came. It seemed to have turned into a giant dragon and rushed over. The sound dragon directly pushed Lin Xian back. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You want to stop me? It was impossible. He roared to the sky. At this moment, Lin Xian finally took out the great dragon sword soul. He transformed into his human form, and the great dragon sword soul appeared between heaven and earth. Feeling this invincible power, the surrounding people trembled. The offensive saint techniques between heaven and earth were not weaker than the existence of extreme weapons. Lin Xian held the great dragon sword soul with both hands, roared to the sky, and destroyed everything. At the same time, He exerted his power to the extreme. The sword world opened, and endless power surged out. Then, he slashed forward. The sound dragon was immediately split into two halves by the sword. Not only that, the entire cave was also enveloped by this sword, emitting a violent rumbling sound. Endless sword chi erupted in front of them, and the surrounding people all closed their eyes. They all retreated. The sound of the dragon throat sword kept ringing. What was going on? After a long time, they slowly opened their eyes. In the next moment, they found that the bulging barrier between the caves had been broken. Lin Xian stood there like a demon god. His figure was incomparably tall and straight. The great dragon sword's soul slowly disappeared and entered his body. Good opportunity. An elder of the Gu family was overjoyed when he saw this scene. He formed a seal with his hands, used space, and disappeared in an instant. He was teleported into the cave. Whoever entered first would be able to obtain a great fortune. He didn't want to miss it. Damn it, what are you doing? On the other side, the Crimson Dragon and the others roared crazily. Lin Xian also frowned. He wanted to make a move. However, at this moment, the light of the law came from the front, directly piercing through the elder of the Gu family. The soul of the Gu family's elder was destroyed. His body turned into law fragments and fell to the ground. Both his body and soul were destroyed. When the others saw this scene, their scalps went numb. Some of the people who wanted to scheme against him also stopped. Their faces turned ugly. What was going on with the great ancestor? The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also frowned. Long Mu harumphed coldly. This is the mausoleum of the great sovereign. How can we imagine his methods? He was the only one who could enter the barrier that Lin Wudi had opened. If he didn't go in, no one would be able to. The Gu family wanted to take advantage of the situation. They were really stupid. Hearing this, the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty sighed. At the same time, they understood why Lord Longmu hadn't attacked. So there was such a rule. The others also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. No one dared to move. All eyes were on Lin Xian. However, what made them frown was that Lin Xian didn't move at all. When Lin Xian heard this news, the corners of his mouth curled up. Originally, he also wanted to be the first to rush in, afraid that others would snatch his fortune. But now, he wasn't in a hurry. As long as he didn't go in, no one else would dare to. He took out the heaven-swallowing jar and floated around. Lin Xian sat down cross-legged and began to swallow pills to recover his strength. Because of the powerful attack of the great dragon sword, it had consumed a lot of energy. Therefore, he had to replenish his strength to recover to his peak. Just like that, everyone waited for a day. A day later, Lin Xian stood up and walked forward. Everyone was looking forward to it. What kind of fortune would Lin Xian obtain? Many people's eyes were red. This kid was too lucky. In the extreme path world, he obtained the fortune left behind by the great sovereign. Until now, they still didn't know what it was. Now, was he going to obtain the power left behind by the Dragon Emperor? Lin Xian was also facing a great enemy. Although he said so, he still felt a little guilty. He must have killed the Dragon Prince and slapped the Dragon Emperor's face 90,000 years ago. He didn't know if the Dragon Emperor had any traps or tricks. Therefore, he was always on guard. Dragon-shaped sword chi surrounded his body, forming an indestructible power. As long as the situation was not right, he would attack at all costs. Lin Xian walked towards the cave abode in front. When he took a step into the cave abode, Lin Xian felt a primitive power enveloping him. This power carried an extremely strong great sovereign aura and was abnormally real. It made Lin Xian feel that his body was about to be crushed. What a terrifying pressure. Cold sweat flowed down his forehead. This was the ancient tomb of a great sovereign. It was too powerful. At the same time, he felt a surge of dragon chi surging over like a sea and instantly enveloping him. F***CK. Lin Xian shouted angrily. The situation of being the first to enter was not so easy to bear. This power was like clouds and sea. Once he couldn't bear it, his body would be torn to pieces. He was prepared to use the heaven-devouring jar to devour and slowly absorb it. However, at this moment, the great dragon sword soul in his body roared and rushed over. It absorbed all of the aura of the dragons around it, which was as vast as the sea. Lin Xian was stunned after seeing this. Why did the great dragon sword soul come out by itself? What shocked him even more was that the great dragon sword soul was actually absorbing this power. He narrowed his eyes, but he didn't stop it. The stronger the great dragon sword soul was, the more benefits it would have for him. After the great dragon sword soul absorbed the power of the Tao of Dragons, its body swayed and once again entered Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian carefully checked and found that the great dragon sword soul had become mysterious and unfathomable. There was a strong aura on it. Although he didn't absorb it, Lin Xian was incomparably happy. It seemed like he had made the right choice to be the first to enter. Lin Xian had a feeling that the great dragon sword soul might have a new breakthrough in the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. Qingqing, Ruzalong, you guys can come in now. Lin Xian stood at the entrance of the cave and waved his hand. The Crimson Dragon and the rest were delighted when they heard this. Let's go. Murong Qingcheng and the rest waved their hands and quickly walked forward. After the people from the Divine Union entered, the other emperor race and remote ancient family members also moved. Let's go in too. After entering, these people were astonished. What a terrifying power. This is the might of an emperor lord. I feel like my body is about to break. These people were extremely frightened. Indeed, some of the weaker ones instantly had cracks appear on their bodies. Damn it. Some people gritted their teeth. They couldn't withstand the power here and could only retreat. These people were indignant. They were about to cry. Although the others could still move forward, they were still facing a great enemy. The aura inside was extremely terrifying. Many Emperor race members released a trace of extreme Tao aura to defend themselves. This was also a form of exhaustion for them. They didn't know how long they could last. Chapter 54-54. The people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty had also entered. This was the tomb of their ancestor, the Dragon Emperor. It was indeed powerful. The pressure made them feel as if they were facing a great enemy, but they were also happy. If they could cultivate here for a year, their physiques would undergo earth-shaking changes. Of course, they didn't stop now. They continued to move forward. They also wanted to see what treasures the ancestor had left behind. They walked carefully along the way, as if they were facing a great enemy. Finally, after passing through the passage, they found the first hall. There were flickering flames in front of them. They didn't know what the lamp oil was made of, but it seemed to be even more ancient. This kind of flame hung around the hall, just like the longevity lamp. It was abnormally mysterious. However, although there was light, it wasn't very bright. There were some dark corners in the hall that couldn't be illuminated at all. Everyone felt a mysterious and strange aura. Standing in the hall, they looked around curiously. The hall was abnormally majestic, far surpassing any building they had seen before. Many people began to use their soul power to check if there were any treasures here. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew past, blowing on everyone's souls. Many people's souls seemed to have been scratched by sharp claws, and they cried out in pain. They quickly withdrew their souls. What a terrifying wind. It was too scary. In the ancient tomb of the earth, a gust of wind could hurt their souls. Lin Xian also frowned. He didn't release his soul. He had the Rinnegan. So, at this moment, he was using his eye technique to check. However, that gust of wind just now had shaken his soul. What a terrifying power. Suddenly, his pupils shrank because he seemed to have found a figure in the shadows in front of him. The person was hidden in the darkness, and even the mysterious lamp couldn't find him. Qingqing, you guys be careful. There's someone in front, but I don't know who it is. Lin Xian told them what he saw. Murong Qingqing and the others also exclaimed after hearing it. They looked at the dark corner in front of them. With their current souls, they couldn't detect it at all. However, they believed that Lin Xian's Rinnegan was very terrifying. The others also didn't see it. After the initial caution, they began to move. They walked around. Among them, the three sacred ancestors of the Golden Crow tribe joined hands and began to move forward. Terrifying golden crow fire burned on their bodies as if they had turned into suns. They prepared to illuminate the surroundings. Lin Xian sneered when he saw this. He did not move forward. Instead, He led the members of the Divine Union back a little, as he realized that the three Golden Crow divine ancestors were walking towards the Black Shadow. The Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb was such a terrifying place, yet there was a Black Shadow. Just how terrifying was this Black Shadow? Lin Xian didn't dare to know either. He knew that the three Golden Crow sacred lords were in trouble. The three Golden Crow sacred masters sneered when they saw a black shadow in front of them. He walked over with flames in his hand. In the next moment, the flame entered the darkness and suddenly disappeared from the corner. The three Saint Sovereigns frowned. What was going on? Just as they were about to investigate, suddenly, another gust of wind blew past, and the darkness seemed to sway. They could faintly see a figure sitting cross-legged there. In the next moment, the figure opened his eyes. With a loud boom, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The three divine ancestors were sent flying, their bodies shattered. The rest of the people were also shaken to the point that their blood was boiling. They looked ahead in bewilderment. Then, they saw a shocking scene. In the next moment, everyone stopped, their hair standing on end. The members of the Divine Union also took a deep breath. This was too terrifying. Fortunately, Lin Xian had warned them beforehand. Otherwise, they would have been seriously injured. The three Golden Crow tribes' divine ancestors had been seriously injured by this gaze. The three elders were terrified. The other members of the Golden Crow tribe were even more terrified. What exactly had happened? The people of the Kuan Pong tribe asked, "What did you do?" The people of the Qilan tribe also sneered. "What did you do?" The three Golden Crow tribes' divine ancestors were about to cry. What had they done? They had seen a dark area in front of them, so they had shot out a ray of light. That was all. Who would have thought that there would be a figure there? They said in horror. There was someone in front. There was someone? What exactly was going on? The people of the Gu family also walked out. The people of the Purple Mansion also turned their heads to look. The elder of the Golden Crow tribe said, "There is a dark area in front of us. There is a person sitting cross-legged there. We wanted to illuminate that area. In the end, we had just shot out a ball of flame when the black figure opened his eyes. His gaze had seriously injured the three of us." What? Upon hearing this, the surrounding people went crazy. There was actually someone in the main hall? This was too unbelievable. They had not detected anything at all. Who could the person in the ancient tomb be? Could it be the Dragon Emperor? However, the people of the Gu family shook their heads. It was impossible. If it was the Dragon Emperor, how could the three of them still be alive? They reckoned that all of them would have died. It should not be the Dragon Emperor. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. It should be the same as the Cheong Chi and the Dragon Dao elite soldier. It should be a puppet or a guardian. However, this was too terrifying. One had to know that these three Golden Crow sacred masters were all older generation figures. Among the divine ancestors, they had cultivated for thousands of years. Their strength was extremely terrifying. But now, he was severely injured by a single gaze. What kind of gaze was this? Their scalps went numb. They all looked ahead and discovered that there was indeed a patch of darkness ahead. Occasionally, the wind would blow and the darkness would sway. Only then could the figure be seen. Why don't we ignore him? Since the hall is so big, we can search in other places. A top prodigy of the Wind Clan suggested. The chief of the Purple Mansion frowned. No, didn't they notice? The place where he was standing was the passageway to continue walking. If you don't want to continue, you can just ignore her. But if you want to go further inside, you have to go past him. The others looked at it seriously and found that the Purple Mansion's mansion master was right. As he spoke, he turned his head and looked around as if he was searching for something. Suddenly, he frowned when he saw Lin Xian and the others. He said coldly, "Lin Wudi, you already knew, didn't you? Otherwise, why would you hide so far away?" As soon as this was said, the others were also surprised. Lin Wudi already knew? That was impossible, right? They all turned their heads. The three rat ancestors of the Golden Crow clan also roared. "Despicable brat, how dare you not warn us?" Lin Xian sneered. "Are you out of your mind? Who do you think you are? Why should I warn you?" Chapter 54-55. After the Golden Crow race's divine ancestor heard this, He was so angry that he vomited blood. However, Lin Wudi's performance was too strong. In addition, they were injured and didn't dare to attack. At this moment, Kuren Pongzi of the Kuan Pong race walked up. He said, Lin Gongzi, I don't know what clues you have. This ancient tomb is so terrifying. I think we should work together. The people from the Qilin family also looked over because they had no other choice. Lin Xian looked at them and then shook his head. Previously, I only saw a figure there and felt that it was strange, so I didn't dare to act rashly. As for what this figure is, I don't know. I think they should know. With that, Lin Xian looked at the people from the Thousand Dragon Court. The others all looked over as well. Fellow Taoists of the Thousand Dragon Court, tell us your clues. You came in, which means that you want the treasures inside. But with your strength, you shouldn't be able to take it all. The Emperor race members spoke one after another. The people from the Thousand Dragon Court also had ugly expressions. Long Mu snorted coldly. He said that the people in the Dragon Emperor's tomb are all from the dragon race. They should be ancient seniors. But which one is this? I don't know yet, unless I can test his other powers. The people from the Thunder Dragon race also walked out. This was the Thunder Dragon race's patriarch. Just now, when the Golden Crow race was injured, I felt a trace of lightning aura. It should be related to our Thunder Dragon race. Perhaps it's an ancient ancestor of our dragon race. Everyone discussed one after another. So far, this was the only result they got. They had no choice. Next, they were prepared to try again. These people used laws to condense a few incarnations and flew forward. They were prepared to test if it was a powerhouse of the Thunder Dragon race. The law incarnations arrived in front of the black figure, and a bright light erupted from their bodies. Then, they walked into the darkness. In an instant, the figure waved his hand, and a terrifying lightning power flew out. Instantly, heaven and earth collapsed. The 5 law incarnations were instantly shattered. The others also exclaimed in surprise. It was indeed lightning, and it should be from the Thunder Dragon race. Great, they finally found another clue. Next, they were prepared to find a way to solve it. However, at that moment, the black silhouette that was sitting cross-legged moved. Its body soared into the sky and floated out. He floated in the air. Then, endless lightning exploded from his body and spread out in all directions. The entire hall was completely covered by a sea of lightning. Not good, quickly defend. The surrounding people quickly defended, but there were still many people. Cracks appeared on their bodies. The power of the lightning was too terrifying. How could it be so terrifying? Phoenix Clan's people exclaimed. This is a domain. This is a lightning domain. Everyone must be careful. They summoned their phoenixes to defend themselves. The body of the tribe leader of the Lightning Dragon tribe started to tremble. He knelt on the ground and kowtowed continuously. Everyone was stunned by this scene. Even the people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were stunned. Could it be that the other party recognized him? Longmu also frowned and asked, Thunder Dragon clan leader? Could it be? That's right. It's what use. This is the Nirvana Thunder Dragon, a supreme expert of our Thunder Dragon clan. Nirvana Thunder Dragon. Hearing those words, many people from the imperial clans sucked in a breath of cold air. They came to their senses one after another. This was an extremely terrifying expert from the Dragon clan. Moreover, it was a lightning Dao expert. He cultivated the divine lightning of Nirvana and had the power to destroy everything. Such an expert was hard to come by in tens of thousands of years. They didn't expect that there would be a dragon in the Dragon Emperor tomb. Moreover, the other party was guarding the first hall. They had just entered. How terrifying was this dragon coffin ancient tomb? As expected, Lord Longmu's face was also solemn. The dragon was a terrifying existence in the dragon race. If the other party was guarding here, it wouldn't be easy to pass. I didn't expect someone to recognize me. You're from the Thunder Dragon race, right? I can even sense the aura of many dragons in the Dragon Emperor race. However, I can't sense the aura of the Dragon Prince. Since the Dragon Prince isn't here, you all have to be punished. After saying that, he waved his sleeve and the surrounding lightning became even more terrifying. The lightning that filled the sky swept in all directions. Many people's bodies were pierced through, and they vomited blood. The people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty wanted to say something, but it was too late. After so many years, this dragon was definitely not a living expert. It should be some kind of puppet-like existence. This was the Dragon Emperor's method. They couldn't explain it at all. They could either block it or retreat. Everyone, let's attack. The Qilin Sun said loudly. Didn't we come here to find the treasure? Although it's a dragon, so what? The tomb of the great emperor is definitely incomparably difficult. I think everyone is mentally prepared for this. So now it's time for us to join forces. Zifu also said, that's right. I heard that the dragon has endless lightning. It's the supreme lightning path. Once cultivated to the extreme, a lightning pool will be opened in the body. This is a supreme power. If we defeat it, we might be able to obtain the power of the lightning pool. The other monarch races also accepted the challenge. They prepared to join forces to fight against it. The people of the Thousand Dragon Dynasty also took a deep breath. They were going to attack. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Lightning pool? He looked at the Crimson Dragon and asked, do you know? The Crimson Dragon nodded. It's very useful for you. Lin Xian's lips curled up. Got it. Then let's fight for the lightning pool. You want my lightning pool? How naive. Since that's the case, have a taste of my lightning dragon annihilation. Then, he formed a seal with his palms. In the lightning field, endless lightning turned into a lightning dragon. It roared into the sky and struck out a terrifying lightning pool. Many people were sent flying. Some of them even had their astral souls destroyed. This was too scary. Join forces? The people of the monarch races shouted. The people of the Gu family created a crack in space and sent all the lightning into the starry sky. The power of the ancient race. The yin-yang energy of the Kuan-Pong race. The flames of the Qilin race and the mystique of the Phoenix race. The Divine Union also attacked. A huge battle broke out instantly. However, the dragon annihilation was too strong. Just the lightning prison alone was enough to make everyone feel like they were facing a great enemy. Right now, no one could challenge the dragon annihilation. I'll do it. The Qilin Sun shouted. He used the Qilin arm and tore through the lightning sea and attacked the dragon annihilation. However, the dragon annihilations blocked the Qilin arm with a single hand. Then, it forced the Qilin Sun back. The Qilin Sun's blood boiled. He shouted and used the Qilin art to fight against the dragon annihilation. On the other side, the Purple Mansion Master rushed over as well. Her beautiful face was unusually cold. She took out a bottle of purple longsword. Extreme purple sword technique. With a furious roar, she unleashed an ancient sword technique that had been lost for generations. Chapter 54-56. Elder Yi Kai of the Yi family also made a move. As if he had transformed into a god of war, his powerful combat strength swept through all the lightning. He charged over and fought in close combat with the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana. The Thunder Dragon of Nirvana sent out a palm. The sound of the sky shaking made the world shake. Everyone's expression changed. It was too terrifying. Even the 5 Emperor Clan experts working together couldn't do anything to the other party. Lin Xian flipped his hand and directly took out the heaven-swallowing jar. He created a black vortex and began to devour the thunder prison. Lin Xian wouldn't let go of any power. This thunder dominion had an incomparably violent power. Lin Xian naturally wouldn't let it go. When they saw the appearance of the extreme weapon, everyone's scalp went numb. Was this Lin Wudy crazy? From the beginning to the end, he had always taken out extreme weapons. However, what surprised them was that Lin Xian didn't use extreme weapons to attack the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana. Instead, he directly absorbed the power of the Thunder Prison. The sea of lightning that filled the sky was swallowed by the black vortex. The pressure on everyone also decreased and even disappeared. They all heaved a sigh of relief. This guy was devouring power everywhere. Was he lacking power? Who could be so poor to this extent? The other party wasn't a thunder element expert. What was the use of such destructive power? Even a Thunder Path Holy Lord wouldn't dare to easily absorb the thunder of Nirvana. They couldn't understand. and the thunder dragon of Nirvana in front seemed to be challenged. She felt the power of the extreme weapon. She immediately snorted coldly. In the next moment, she opened her eyes. A bolt of Nirvana lightning tore through the 9 heavens. Everyone was sent flying. The Gu family's elder used void magic to dodge this attack. His face was pale. Qilin's son spat out blood and flew back. Cracks appeared on his body. Mansion Master Zi also flew out. Blood dripped from his arm. Elder Yi Kai and the others of the Yi family were all injured. At this moment, everyone was injured by this gaze. Damn it! What kind of eyes were these? It was too terrifying. Bai Susu's mouth was bleeding. Yin Ruyu and the others were also pale. The Crimson Dragon exclaimed. The legendary Nirvana Thunder Dragon's peerless magic, the Eye of Nirvana. With a glance, heaven and earth shattered. He even had such a peerless divine ability. The surrounding people were stunned. The 3 divine ancestors of the Golden Crow tribe now knew why they had been injured. It wasn't that they were weak and couldn't withstand a single glance. This gaze was too terrifying. Legend has it that in the past, there was once a great battle between a Nirvana lightning dragon and others. With a single glance, 5 worlds were directly shattered, vanishing into thin air. That level of strength was absolutely terrifying. Who would be able to block the Eye of Nirvana when the Nirvana Thunder Dragon used it? Damn it! Many people gritted their teeth and looked over. The Qilin child stared at Lin Xian. Damn you, Lin Wudi, who allowed you to use an extreme weapon? Headmaster Zi also shouted angrily. Put away your supreme weapon. You'll completely enrage him. Hearing this, Lin Xian glanced at them and laughed coldly. Anger? How laughable. He's a tomb keeper. Do you think he'll let you pass if you don't anger him? Only by defeating him would they be able to pass. As for whether he was angered or not, what difference did it make? With that, Lin Xian ignored these people and looked ahead. You are the Nirvana Lightning Dragon? The guardian of the first hall? I'll give you a chance. Hand over the lightning lock on you and I won't attack you. The people around went crazy when they heard this. The headmaster Zi's eyes were about to pop out. The Qilin son was also stunned, and the people of the Gu family were even more dumbfounded. How terrifying was the Nirvana Lightning Dragon? Lin Xian actually dared to say such words, and even acted like he was merciful? He was going to let him go? The Lightning Dragon race chief roared. Damn you, Lin Wudi. You dare to be disrespectful to our old ancestor? Do you want to die? He was filled with killing intent. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty all had dark and sunken expressions. How can you fight against the tomb keeper chosen by the Dragon Emperor? Lin Xian scoffed coldly and stared at Long Mu. Aren't you a tomb keeper too? Didn't you fight against me and get injured by me? Why can't I fight against you? Moreover, he couldn't have lived for so many years. He was already dead and was just a puppet. He blocked my path, so he is my enemy. I will never show mercy to my enemies. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. There were still some words he didn't say. So what if he was a tomb keeper? 90,000 years ago, he even dared to slap the Dragon Emperor's face, let alone now. He was really too arrogant. Everyone looked at Lin Xian, dumbfounded. They didn't know what to say. This was his territory. Weren't you afraid that he would use a supreme move to destroy you? The Nirvana Lightning Dragon also turned his head and stared at Lin Xian. He said coldly, Are you challenging me? You will accept my punishment. The punishment of destroying the world. A sharp light shone in his eyes. Lin Xian scoffed coldly. That's right. I am challenging you. I heard that you have the Nirvana Eye, right? Coincidentally, I also have the Rinnegan Eye. Between the two of us, I wonder which one of us has better eyes? Lin Xian's right eye shone with a cold light. The aura of reincarnation erupted and swept in all directions. At this moment, the world formed the 6 paths of reincarnation, as if it could reincarnate everything. Feeling this aura, the other people's scalps went numb. They admitted that Lin Wudi was too strong and seemed to have the qualifications to challenge him. The light of reincarnation in his eyes charged forward. The Nirvana Lightning Dragon was also surprised. The power of reincarnation? It was really surprising. He also struck out the light of Nirvana. Suddenly, a terrifying aura erupted. The two collided, and the sky fell, and the earth cracked. That power made everyone's scalps go numb. The eyes of these two people were really too terrifying. Both of them had super powerful eye techniques. One had the mysterious aura of reincarnation, and the other had the aura of destruction. I wonder who's stronger? Patriarch Ling Long gritted his teeth and said, "Of course, our ancestor was stronger. Once the Nirvana eye came out, no one could resist it." The Thousand Dragons Imperial Court also thought so. They desperately hoped that the Nirvana Lightning Dragon could kill Lin Xian. However, after one strike, the two gazes disappeared together. They seemed to be evenly matched. Everyone was shocked. Lin Wudi's eyes were already powerful to such an extent? Could he contend with the Nirvana Lightning Dragon? "You're just Oso." Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said proudly. As soon as these words came out, everyone was shocked. The patriarch of the Thunder Dragon tribe was completely furious. "Damn it, hurry up and apologize to our ancestor. Kneel down and kowtow." Lin Xian turned his head, and a biting cold killing intent erupted from his eyes. "Do you want to die?" With a wave of his hand, it turned into a demonic seal and directly charged towards the patriarch of the Thunder Dragon tribe. The patriarch of the Thunder Dragon tribe was shocked, but in the next moment, he was furious. He was the dignified patriarch of the Thunder Dragon tribe, and the other party dared to attack him? "You're courting death." He clasped his hands together and turned them into a thunder blade, slashing forward. Chapter 54-57. The demonic god seal collided with the opponent's thunder blade, producing an earth-shattering sound. The patriarch of the Thunder Dragon clan was forced to retreat. The thunder blade in his hand shattered, and his hands trembled. Damn it, the opponent was so strong. As the patriarch of the clan, he couldn't do anything to the opponent? At this moment, his pupils constricted. "You're courting death." He punched out again, because Lin Xian slashed open with his sword. This sword was like a giant dragon dancing in the air, directly sending the patriarch of the Thunder Dragon clan flying. A sword mark was left on his body. The other people's scalps went numb. He was too strong. Even the patriarch of the remote antiquity family couldn't do anything to him now. Lin Xian stood there with his hands behind his back. He sneered, "Aunt, if you provoke me again, I'll destroy your heart and soul." "You." The patriarch of the Thunder Dragon clan was so angry that he vomited blood. "You actually have the aura of the Dragon clan." At this moment, the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana stared at Lin Xian again. "It's useless to say more. Let's do it." Lin Xian soared into the air, his body releasing an extremely terrifying light. The Rinnegan in his right eye released an even more terrifying light of reincarnation. The world of reincarnation appeared around him. The power made the scalps of the surrounding people tingle. They had all defended their souls. Would Lin Xian be able to win this battle? Heavenly path of reincarnation. In the sky, an eye stood there like the eye of a god looking down on the common people. In that eye, there were countless mysterious runes that quickly intertwined, forming a giant hand of heaven. It descended from the sky and pressed down, grabbing at the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana in an instant. The Thunder Dragon of Nirvana also roared angrily. "Light of Nirvana!" He shot out a light of Thunder God. The terrifying flames shattered the entire world. It collided with the giant hand of heaven. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. Everyone retreated. In the next moment, the Thunder Dragon of Nirvana had the advantage and launched an attack. Nirvana shattered. The eye of Nirvana opened again. It was as if the world had shattered, and it attacked Lin Xian. The void around Lin Xian instantly shattered. Lin Xian used the reincarnation tunnel. A few earth shields appeared to defend against the attack. He defended his body. Then, reincarnation was formed, the Tao of Man. All of the power of reincarnation fused into his body as he unleashed the six-path fist and punched out. A mysterious ancient rune could be seen flickering on his fist. It seemed to be able to shatter the myriad worlds. The battle between the two was extremely terrifying. The surrounding people were shocked. These two eyes were too terrifying. Currently, Lin Xian only has one Rinnegan. If he condenses it again, I'm afraid that Thunder Dragon won't be his opponent at all. The people from the Divine Union were also nervous. Would Brother Xian succeed? Definitely. The Crimson Dragon was excited. He wanted to use the Phantom of the Samsara Sword. He could definitely defeat the Nirvana Thunder Dragon. However, Murong Qingqing shook his head. I don't think Brother Xian will. The Great Earth Tomb is so terrifying that there are many places that require Rinnegan to explore. And with Brother Xian's current strength, once he uses the Samsara Sword Phantom, he wouldn't be able to use his soul for a short period of time. This will be very disadvantageous to our situation. Murong Qingqing's analysis was correct. Lin Xian didn't intend to use the Samsara Sword Phantom in such a place. However, he also launched an extremely powerful attack. It was the fusion of heaven, earth, and man. The entire hall shook violently. A terrifying and ancient aura filled the air. Everyone's eyes widened. What was Lin Wudi using? Was it the Samsara Sword? No, he didn't summon the Samsara Sword. He used another ability. Everyone realized that Lin Xian's strength was extremely terrifying. He seemed to have turned into the king of Samsara. The heaven in the sky and the big hand also fell and merged with Lin Xian's palm. The shield formed by the Samsara tunnel appeared on Lin Xian's left hand. He had fused with the power of reincarnation. Long Mu exclaimed. This was too heaven-defying. The Nirvana Thunder Dragon seemed to feel a sense of danger. He roared furiously. Suddenly, endless lightning appeared between his eyebrows. It quickly spread and formed a space. This was even more terrifying than the lightning region. It was the Thunder Lock. Countless people looked at this scene with their eyes wide open. Their eyes turned red. The Thunder Lock contained the supreme power of the Thunder Tao. It was also the power that they wanted to obtain. Now, the Nirvana Thunder Dragon had finally used it. Take my strongest attack, the Nirvana Sword. The Thunder Lock flew into the Eye of Nirvana. The Eye of Nirvana was beating rapidly. Countless runes gathered on it, and then turned into a sword. The Nirvana Sword. The sword slashed out with an aura that could destroy everything. It descended from the sky. At this moment, the void in the hall avoided it. This was the tomb of a great emperor. To be able to create such a scene, it was enough to show how terrifying this sword was. This was the Nirvana Sword? It was really terrifying. They didn't expect that Lin Xian didn't use the Samsara Sword Phantom, but the Nirvana Thunder Dragon used the Nirvana Sword. They didn't know if this sword could kill this kid. The Thunder Dragon Patriarch clenched his fists. Their ancestors' ultimate technique must succeed. The people of the Thousand Dragons Court were also looking forward to it. The people of the Purple Mansion were also very nervous. Kill. After Lin Xian's heaven, earth, and human Tao merged, he also charged forward. In the face of this situation, he used the tunnel shield in his hand to block. At the same time, he used the Heaven Path hand and the Human Tao hand. A hand seemed to have crossed the universe and charged forward. Illusions appeared around both of them. The Nirvana Sword showed a scene of the destruction of the world. The end was coming. On the other hand, Lin Xian's hand was even more terrifying. It had countless ancient scenes. The mysterious hall and the terrifying illusions finally clashed in the air. At this moment, everyone was sent flying. There were thousands of thunderbolts in front of them. Everyone's hearing was sealed. They couldn't hear anything. Their eyes were filled with endless light. At this moment, everyone felt as if they were thrown into the 9 heavens. This feeling is really frightening. After an unknown period of time, they finally saw the scene in front of them and regained their hearing. They all raised their heads and looked forward. What had happened? Was the battle over? The people of the Divine Union were also very nervous. The people of the Thousand Dragons Court also looked carefully. In the next moment, everyone was stunned. There was only one figure left in front of them. It was Lin Xian. The reincarnation force on Lin Xian's body slowly disappeared and entered his eyes again. Lin Xian's face was pale, but the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile. The others were puzzled. What was going on? There was only Lin Wudi. Could it be that the Nirvana Thunder Dragon had failed? When they thought of this possibility, they gasped. This was impossible. The Thunder Dragon Patriarch roared crazily. That was their ancestor. How could he have failed? The Eye of Nirvana and the Nirvana Sword at their strongest were enough to destroy everything. Chapter 54-58. Only Lin Xian was left standing in the sky, his face pale. In front of him, the void was split into two. The horrifying Luai's lake was also split into two by the sword slash. The Thunder Dragon's figure had disappeared. Was he killed? Everyone's scalps went numb. The Purple Mansion Master's eyes flashed with purple light. Suddenly, he looked at the darkness in front of him and exclaimed. He went back. He pointed to the front and exclaimed. Everyone looked over as well. In the darkness, there was a blurry figure. Nirvana Thunder Dragon sat back down. It seemed that he had lost the previous battle to Lin Wuti. How could this be? Everyone was deeply shocked. Even Long Mu's brows were tightly knitted together. Just as they were in a daze, Lin Xian waved his hand. He then put away half of the thunder lock. With a wave of his hand, he threw it into the sword world. This scene left everyone dumbfounded. The Emperor race people were also furious. Damn it, how dare you? Keep it? Despicable brat. Hand it over. The Thunder Lake of the Thunder Dragon was something they had dreamed of. Now that it had appeared in front of them, how could they not be excited? However, half of it was gone in an instant. Lin Xian merely sneered in response to this threat. His figure flashed, and he instantly walked into the large hall. He said, "There is still half left. You can snatch it or come after me. Choose." As soon as he said this, everyone hesitated. "Let's do it." Qilin shouted and took the lead to kill the remaining half in the sky. Kuanpengzi also took action. The other elites also took action. The old phoenix also took action. Murong Qingqing and the rest followed Lin Xian. The battle broke out in an instant. Very few people wanted to attack Lin Wuti. After all, the opponent was too strong. They might as well take the remaining Thunder Lake first. If there was a chance in the future, they would take action. This brat was too cool. The Crimson Dragon and the rest were excited. The people from the Divine Union followed Lin Xian and continued their journey. Lin Xian took out a portion of the Thunder Lake from the Sword World and gave it to these people. Good stuff. I'll absorb it later. I'll put it away first. Crimson Dragon. They were excited. The eyes of the people from the Divine Union turned red. Thank you, Boss Lin. This was an extremely precious item. Since Lin Xian was willing to give it to them, how could they not be excited? Lin Xian said, "This is what you deserve." Lin Xian had always been generous to the people of the Divine Union. Furthermore, when they had attacked the Dragon Emperor's tomb and used the ultimate weapon, it had also been these people from the Divine Union who had provided the power. Lin Xian would naturally share a portion of his power with them. Murong Qingqing said with a smile. He reckoned that those people would be fighting until the sky turned upside down. My master also went to snatch it. Perhaps he could also snatch a portion of it. The old phoenix and the others were powerful, so perhaps they would be able to reap some benefits. As for the others, that was not necessarily the case. As expected, the battle at the rear was extremely intense. The remaining half of the Luai's lake was also very large. In addition, there were quite a few emperor clans in the surroundings. They were all fighting until their eyes were red. Some of them were even about to use their extreme weapons. In the end, the Luai's lake was divided among these people. The emperor clans had obtained the most while the other remote antiquity clans had also obtained a little. However, these people were all injured. Those who were not injured had also consumed a lot of energy. Their faces were cold. Housemaster Z and the others gritted their teeth. This Lin Wuti was really something. They could not let him continue to grow. They had to find a chance to kill him. They gritted their teeth. The old phoenix sneered. He had also snatched some Luai's lake. Immediately, he led the Phoenix clan and flew forward. They were ready to meet up with Lin Xian. Let's go too. The Fire Qilin Cave, the Gu clan, and the others also headed over. They had just entered the first hall. They did not know what was waiting for them behind. In front of them, Lin Xian and the others slowed down once again. After all, this was the tomb of the great emperor. They did not dare to be careless. The Crimson Dragon cast a defensive array to protect them. Lin Xian had already started to use the power he had obtained as he walked. Previously, he had obtained a lot of power in the Dragon Emperor's domain. He had also obtained the Imperial Divine Spirit, the Dragon Scale Fruit, and the other spiritual fruits. Now that he had obtained the Luai's Lake, Lin Xian did not consume too much of the dragon scale fruit. He was prepared to place it in the Four-Spirit Valley to continue producing. As for the dragon scale divine crystal, Lin Xian started to absorb it. He also started to absorb the Luai's lake. The others did not dare to be careless with such a violent power. They had to find a secret room to absorb it carefully. However, Lin Xian did not need to do so. Firstly, he could provide power to the sword world. The absorption of the sword world did not need to be so troublesome. Moreover, this time, the power he needed was for the divine fire seed. Absorbing the divine fire seed was easier than cultivating in the secret room. Therefore, Lin Xian could absorb it as he walked. The divine fire seed kept spinning and absorbing slowly. A mysterious flame bloomed on it. When Lin Xian saw this, the corners of his mouth curled up. He could feel that the divine fire seed was growing. Coming to the great emperor's tomb was the right choice. He wondered what would happen after he got out. How much could the divine fire seed grow? Brother Xian, the people behind had arrived. After meeting up with the old phoenix and the others, Murong Qingcheng and the others could feel it. More and more people were arriving from behind. They were the people from before. Lin Xian nodded. Ignore them. They don't dare to make a move on us now. The Crimson Dragon and the Toad looked behind them. Then, they laughed because they saw that many of their acquaintances were injured. It was obvious that they were left behind from the previous battle. The two of them mocked at the front, causing the people behind them to be furious. They almost couldn't help but want to make a move. These two guys were too despicable. Damn it, I really want to kill them. A middle-aged man from the Gu family gritted his teeth. However, at this moment, the leading elder Gu Shao said, "Don't do anything. There seems to be another hall in front of us." Sure enough, a huge shadow appeared in front of them. It was as if a ferocious beast was waiting for them. In front of such a hall, they became incomparably small. So majestic, why do I feel that it is even more terrifying than the first hall from before? I wonder if there are any guardians in this hall? Why don't you think about it? The treasures here might be better than the Thunder Lake in the first hall. Many people were excited. Some people shook their heads and sighed. They had to be alive to take it. The guardians of the first stage were already so powerful. To be honest, if it weren't for Lin Wudi, we wouldn't have had a chance to pass at all. For a moment, some people were ecstatic, some shook their heads, and some were nervous. All kinds of emotions filled the air. Lin Xian and the others also stopped. He temporarily stopped absorbing the divine fire seed. Instead, he looked at the hall in front of him. They felt a silent pressure that instantly pressed down on them. This aura was too terrifying. It seemed to make them submit. Chapter 54-59. Standing outside the majestic hall, Lin Xian and the others looked solemn. Other than the terrifying supreme aura that made one feel as if they were facing a great enemy, Lin Xian also noticed something else. He looked at the Crimson Dragon and asked, "How was it? Was it okay?" The Crimson Dragon frowned and looked around. Then, he shook his head. It seemed like they had to attack together. They discussed here and didn't go in. The people behind frowned. The Golden Crow race snorted. "Lin Wudi, weren't you always arrogant? Why don't you dare to go in now? If you don't dare to go in, then scram. Don't block our way." The moment he said that, the Destiny Gemini tribe, Lightning Dragon tribe, Dragon Sea tribe, and the others also sneered. Lin Xian turned around and looked at these people. What a bunch of idiots. Your eyes are too trashy. Don't you see the array in front? So, if you want to die, just go ahead. Damn it, you dare to mock us? These people were furious. Suddenly, they were stunned. There's an array? What array is it? I don't believe it. A Saint Race member from the Golden Crow race snorted and charged forward. Pretending to be mysterious, I want to see if there's an array. Before he finished speaking, he flew out because he was sent flying by the array. Half of his body turned into a bloody mist and half of his soul was destroyed. As he screamed in terror, the others also gasped in shock. The Dragon Sea Race leader, Thunder Dragon Race leader, and the others all narrowed their eyes. What a terrifying array. The Crimson Dragon snorted. Stupid. Now you know there's an array? The golden crow race was about to vomit blood. This time, they really kicked an iron board. There really was an array, and it was a peerless array. The Kurrenpong race, Fire Chilin race, and the others all walked forward. They looked at it carefully and then frowned. What a terrifying formation. Lin Wudi, do you have a way? They looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood with his hands behind his back and said, there is a way, but if you want to break the array, you have to listen to me completely. Once those words were spoken, the surrounding imperial clans all started to frown. Listen to the other party? What kind of joke was this? How high and mighty were their emperor clans? Now, they were being ordered around by a youngster. They couldn't swallow this anger. The Fire Chilin sneered. You want to order us around just like that? What if we don't agree? Headmaster Z also snorted coldly. That's right. We'll wait. I don't believe that you won't enter. If you can break the array formation, we'll follow you in. These people all had the same idea. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. Oh, you want to waste my time? Don't worry. I just got half of the lightning lock and I don't have time to cultivate. Wait here. I'll cultivate for a while. With that, he walked forward, sat down cross-legged, and began to absorb the lightning. Endless lightning circled around his body, making the people around him almost vomit blood. Damn it, their punches seemed to have hit cotton. The other party wasn't injured, but they were angered to the point of vomiting blood. What to do? If this continued, it would be bad for them. Not only did he get the lightning lock, but he also got the dragon spiritual tree and the dragon divine crystal. Damn it, so much energy. It's enough for him to absorb for many years. What should we do? Should we continue to waste time with him? The Kuanpeng race shook their heads. Kuanpeng Zi walked out and said, Lin Gongzi, if you have a way, I'm willing to help you. Lin Gongzi, please help. We're willing to do our best to help. Many clan of the ancients walked over. For example, Shi Zhu, Golden Rock Race, White Crane Race, etc. They all bowed respectfully towards Lin Xian. The Emperor clan's expressions were ugly, but they could only grit their teeth and say, okay, we'll listen to you. Lin Xian glanced at them and said, it's too late for you to agree now. I gave you a chance before, but it's impossible now. What did you say? The Fire Chilin was furious. The Thousand Dragon Empire and Z Mansion clenched their teeth. Damn kid, don't be too arrogant. We've already agreed to help you. What more do you want? What do I want? If you have the ability, then don't beg me. Break the formation yourself. If you can't, you want to enter through me? Simple, hand over a portion of the resources to us. I won't let you pass for nothing. Damn, you dare to target us? Do you want to die? The Fire Chilin and the others hollered. Housemaster Z was also gnashing his teeth. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were even angrier. This was the tomb of their ancestor, okay? Lin Xian wasn't moved. If you want me to break the formation, then each of you have to hand over a portion of the Lightning Ocean. I think you should have snatched it before. If you didn't, then hand over an equivalent amount of God crystals. I'm not in a rush. I have time to wait for you. After saying this, Lin Xian closed his eyes once more. The people around gritted their teeth. Damn, they didn't agree at all. They waited, but 10 days later, they all collapsed. During these 10 days, the lightning aura around Lin Xian's body became more and more terrifying. They were all about to go crazy from anxiousness. They had no choice but to negotiate and hand over some of their lightning oceans or resources in exchange. Of course, the amount wouldn't be as much as Lin Xian said, but it was enough to show their sincerity. Lin Xian's lips curled up as he looked at the energy that these people handed over. Very good. He took a portion of it directly. Then, he gave the remaining portion to the people of the Divine Union. After these people received it, they were all smiles. Thank you, Boss Lin. Some of the other ancient families were also envious when they saw this. They were even contemplating whether they should join the Divine Union. After all, Lin Xian was very generous to the people around him. Lin Wudi, this should be enough, right? Mansion Head Z was so angry that his face turned pale. He was also an overlord, but he couldn't do anything in front of Lin Xian. Ruzalong, you come, Lin Xian said to the Crimson Dragon. The Crimson Dragon walked out and started to investigate the array formation in front of him. The people of the Emperor race were so angry that they almost vomited blood. After all this time, it still wasn't Lin Xian doing it himself. Soon, however, their expressions turned solemn. They could see that although the Crimson Dragon wasn't as strong as Lin Xian, his attainments in array formations were very strong. The other party had set up a few arrays, which made the elders of the Emperor race suck in a breath of cold air. What an exquisite array formation! They saw hope. Great! These people were all excited. If they could enter the second hall, they would definitely take back what they had lost, said an elder of the Z government while frowning. Don't you think that he's using a kind of strength that only exists in legends? The Purple Mansion head frowned as well, his eyes flickering with a purple glow. This was also a powerful and ancient eye technique. He stared at it for a long time before he said, "That's right. Could it be that you were talking about the legendary Geomaster?" "No way," he exclaimed. "Wasn't the earthly scripture already lost? Even they didn't have it. How could he have it?" Chapter 5460. The Purple Mansion Master was really shocked. Their Purple Mansion had many ancient lost techniques. However, there were many that they did not have. For example, the Earth Scripture. It was something that they had always wanted but had no clue about. However, they did not expect that. Now, they saw the shadow of the Earth Scripture on the Divine Dragon in front of them. An Earth Master appeared in front of them, making the eyes of the Purple Mansion people fiery red. At the same time, they also knew. With the means of an Earth Master, he should be able to break the array of the main hall. This Lin Wudi was really terrifying. Not only was he powerful, but the people around him were also extremely extraordinary. A few days later, the Crimson Dragon had already arranged the array. He said, "Stand on different terrains. Next, when I say do it, you will do it according to the order." Although the Emperor clan people were unhappy to be ordered by a divine dragon, they could only do as he said. They could also see that the other party's array skills were very high. It even reached an unfathomable level, making these Emperor clan elders feel like they were celestial beings. They walked to different positions. Next, the Crimson Dragon began to command these people. The array breaking began. Then, it slowly opened. Great, it was a success. The surrounding people all laughed. The people of the Divine Union were also excited. Lin Xian also nodded. As expected of Ruzalong, he was indeed powerful. There was no need to say anything about his array skills. Go, everyone couldn't wait to enter. However, after entering, they were all stunned. They felt a pressure that was like an ancient mountain pressing down on them. This pressure made them feel despair. How could it be so powerful? Now, their joy was gone. Originally, they thought that they could break the array and seize the treasures inside. However, now, whether they could move or not was another matter. "Elder, why don't we go back?" A few young geniuses were about to cry. Even those people of the older generation had ugly expressions on their faces. Quickly, look at what is up there. The expert of the Twin of Destiny clan pointed to the top of the main hall, his voice trembling. The others also looked up. In the next moment, their scalps went numb. Because above the main hall, there was a dragon circling. The dragon head looked down, its merciless gaze enveloping them. The supreme aura was being emitted from the dragon's body. It was too powerful. It was another kind of expert from the dragon race. Clearly, this was the guardian of the second hall. Bai Susu and the others were also surprised. If even the first hall had a lightning dragon of Nirvana, they could not help but wonder which dragon would be in the second hall. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were also shocked. Long Mu's brows were tightly knitted together. This aura made his hair stand on end. He sighed. Although his strength was strong and had surpassed the Saint Plane, it was still not enough. However, his identity was too special. He was also a tomb keeper, so he couldn't do anything here. He could only follow behind. If he made a move, he would be going against the will of the Dragon Emperor. Their bodies and souls would be destroyed, and they would not enter the cycle of reincarnation. Therefore, he gritted his teeth. On one hand, he hoped that he could obtain some treasures, but at the same time, he also hoped that these guardians would be able to capture Lin Xian and the others in one fell swoop. Lord Longmu, where did this dragon clan come from? Long Wu of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also asked. As the descendants of the Dragon Emperor, they were also incomparably sullen at this moment. They could attack, but there were too many emperor races around them. They had no advantage. There was only one person from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty who could have the advantage here, and that was the Dragon Prince. However, the Dragon Prince had already died. As Long Mu spoke, he sensed a trace of the aura of the heavens. This should be the Azure Dragon. Azure Dragon, Zhan Tian. At this moment, a loud voice rang out. It came from the huge dragon above. When the others heard this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. It was indeed the Azure Dragon. As for the name Zhan Tian, it was like thunder to their ears. These people from the dragon race had all heard of him before. Even the Crimson Dragon exclaimed in surprise. It was actually him. Lin Xian asked. Who was this person? Was he very powerful? He had seen the Azure Dragon race before in the second starfield. The Azure Dragon race didn't even enter the buried Emperor star. Lin Xian felt that they shouldn't be the top dragon race. The Crimson Dragon shook his head. It wasn't such a carriage. However, Azure Dragon Zhan Tian was an extremely terrifying existence back then. Do you still remember the Azure Dragon horn? It was created by one of his dragon horns. It could command a group of dragons. During a certain period of time in the dragon race, he was a supreme existence. He was the king of the dragon race. However, he disappeared later on. Only then did the Azure Dragon race gradually decline. In the end, they could only go to other worlds. Lin Xian was shocked when he heard this. The king of the dragon race. This was in an era where the Dragon Emperor didn't appear. One could imagine how terrifying Azure Dragon Zhan Tian was. At the same time, this shocked Lin Xian. The Dragon Emperor was even more terrifying. He even brought such an expert of the Tao of the Dragon to be the Tomb Keeper. Just how terrifying was the real Dragon Monarch? He didn't dare to imagine. The Dragon Sea Lord was also shocked. Azure Dragon, the legendary Azure Dragon Zhan Tian's Azure Dragon blood was extremely terrifying. It was an unparalleled treasure. He wondered if this was the treasure of the second hall. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. The eyes of those Emperor race beings shone brightly, worthy of being the tomb of the Dragon Emperor. The first hall was the Thunder Lake of the Annihilation Thunder Dragon. As for the second hall, it contained the dragon blood of Azure Dragon Zhan Tian. The surrounding people were excited. The Thunder Lake possessed the supreme Tao of thunder, bringing with it the power of destruction. As for the blood of the Azure Dragon, it was an unparalleled pressure. For example, right now, these powerful beings were standing here and feeling the pressure of an ancient mountain. It was the blood of the Azure Dragon. If it could be sucked out, they would have the same pressure on their bodies. In fact, they didn't even have to make a move. Just the aura was enough to topple mountains and overturn seas, turning countless people into ashes. After Lin Xian received this news, he narrowed his eyes. The blood of the Azure Dragon was indeed a good thing. At the same time, it was also an unparalleled power. Then, where was the blood of the Azure Dragon? Everyone was puzzled. An elder of the Kuan-Peng race said, Legend had it that Azure Dragon Zhan Tian had 2 dragon horns. They were extremely terrifying. One of them was broken and refined into the horn of the Azure Dragon. It could command a group of dragons. The other one was still preserved to this day. This was most likely the place where the blood of the Azure Dragon was. Hearing this, everyone raised their heads. They withstood the immense pressure and looked up. Indeed, there was a single horn on the body of the gigantic dragon above. That horn was extremely ancient. There were mysterious patterns on it, releasing an unparalleled aura. What a strong pressure. It seemed to be the place where the blood of the Azure Dragon was. By the looks of it, obtaining the horn of the Azure Dragon would allow one to obtain the blood of the Azure Dragon. Countless people were excited. Chapter 5461. When they heard about the Azure Dragon's blood, their eyes lit up. An old man walked out from the Purple Palace sect side. The old man held a broken sword in his hand, and his aura was incomparably terrifying. When the surrounding people saw him, they cried out in surprise. It was actually the old sword maestro. Had he also appeared? This was an extremely terrifying old man. He was an extremely powerful sword Dao sacred ancestor. His appearance shocked countless people. The Purple Palace Sect's foundation was simply too terrifying. They didn't lose out to the Emperor clans at all. Originally, the Purple Palace Sect had lost a shadow cultivator and severely injured a light, shaking realm cultivator. Who would have thought that such an expert in the sword Dao would appear? Was he going to make a move? Countless people stared at the old sword maestro with wide eyes. When Lin Xian saw the other party, his eyes also narrowed. An expert in the sword Dao? That was interesting. He could sense that the other party did indeed have a very powerful sword chi. Could this brat do it? The Crimson Dragon next to him asked. He wanted Lin Xian to make a move quickly, so that the good stuff wouldn't be snatched away by others. Lin Xian, however, laughed. There was no rush. Let them make a move first. Let them test the power of this Azure Battle Dragon. Under everyone's gazes, the old sword maestro walked forward. He raised his head to look at the sky, and the circling azure dragon coldly harumphed. The broken sword in his hand slashed out. At this moment, the sky was shattered and the earth was destroyed. Under this attack, everyone was shocked. Their bodies felt like they were about to be split apart. This old sword maestro was too terrifying. Even Lin Xian's eyes lit up. The other party was indeed very powerful. Murong Qingsheng and the others were also shocked. This sword might be able to split the azure dragon in half. The massive azure dragon circling in the sky was expressionless. He was still standing there, seemingly unmoved. When the attack landed on his body, an earth-shattering sound rang out. The fiery light seemed to turn into thousands of suns, illuminating the world. What happened? Everyone looked carefully, but when they saw the result, they were stunned. It was such a shocking sword strike, but when it landed on the Azure Dragon's body, the Azure Dragon was unharmed. How was this possible? Everyone was stunned. The old sword maestro's pupils constricted. Impossible. He was very confident in his swordsmanship. In his opinion, there were not many people who could compete with him in swordsmanship. Even the powerful Saint race couldn't withstand a single strike from him. Therefore, he was extremely confident in this attack. However, let alone splitting the other party apart, it didn't even cause any injuries. It was really too inconceivable. Roar. The Azure Dragon in the sky suddenly let out a low roar. Then, he swung his tail over, and wherever it passed by, it seemed to have turned into a peerless divine sword. With a slash of the sword, the river of stars shattered, and heaven and earth lost all light. This attack was aimed at the old sword maestro. The old sword maestro's eyes narrowed. He didn't dare to be careless at all. With a roar of rage, the laws around him began to swirl, and his Taoist robes fluttered. The broken sword in his hand slashed out like a shooting star. Boom! An earth-shattering sound rang out. Everyone was shaken to the point that their chi and blood were roiling. If this wasn't the Dragon Emperor's tomb, the entire world would have been split apart by this attack. Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, the old sword maestro continuously retreated. His arm was cracked, his broken sword was swaying, and there was even saint blood flowing out from the corner of his mouth. He was injured. When the people from the Purple Mansion saw this scene, they exclaimed, "Not good." They were all worried for the old sword maestro. Those from the other monarch race also had ugly expressions. They knew the strength of the old sword maestro. Even he was defeated. In the sky, the Azure Dragon retracted his tail and didn't attack again. This made everyone heave a sigh of relief. However, their brows were tightly knitted. Although their lives weren't in danger, their eyes were filled with despair. Who could fight against such an Azure Dragon? It was too strong. The people from the Kuan Peng race shook their heads and sighed. It was impossible to obtain the Azure Dragon's blood. Damn it! Were they going to return empty-handed? The people from the Gu family also gritted their teeth. This time, they had spent a lot of effort to come here. In order to break the array, they had paid a price. They had originally thought that entering the second palace would allow them to return everything they had lost. But now, it seemed that everything was impossible. How could they be willing to accept this? If one couldn't do it, What about the others? The fire Qilin stood out. He was also unwilling. He gritted his teeth and said, "Everyone, let's work together." All right, that was the only way. The Purple Mansion's mansion lord also walked out. Next, the Kurenpeng race. Gujia, the Golden Crow race, and the others all joined forces. They sent out 10 experts. These 10 top-notch experts included a sword expert like the old sword maestro, as well as the fire Qilin and the Kurenpeng Z. It could be said that the lineup was incomparably terrifying. Kill. With a roar, they rushed into the 9 heavens. All kinds of powerful supreme divine abilities. Battle sword slashing the world. Qilin arm. The roar of the Kurenpeng queen. The fury of yin and yang. All kinds of ultimate skills exploded in an instant. The surrounding people were also shocked. Who could fight against such power? The Azure Dragon also moved. It bared its fangs and brandished its claws. This time, it wasn't just the Azure Dragon's tail. The Azure Dragon's claws, eyes, and body all attacked. Every strike was imbued with unparalleled power that tore everything apart. He collided with the 10 top-notch experts. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Even the void of the main hall cracked. A terrifying power swept in all directions. The 10 top-notch experts were all forced back and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. It was too strong. It was so strong that everyone felt despair. How could it be like this? The Kurenpeng Z was shocked. The fire Qilin also had a sinister expression. The old sword maestro and the others also shook their heads and sighed. Was there no hope? Some people looked towards the Thousand Dragon Court. After all, there was an expert like Long Mu here. However, the old sword maestro snorted coldly. It was useless. Don't look at him. He was the tomb keeper. He couldn't make a move. Otherwise, his soul would be destroyed. Humph. Long Mu snorted coldly. The others felt despair. Elder Gu Shao of the Gu family also had a cold expression. Since they couldn't join forces, they would use their final trump card. As he spoke, he took out the Void Mirror. A powerful extreme force swept in all directions. The others were also shocked. The other Emperor race members also took out extreme weapons. That's right, they still had extreme weapons. Although they didn't have much power to support extreme weapons. For the sake of the Azure Dragon's blood, they decided to make a move. That was great. Those from the Emperor race clenched their fists. Once an extreme weapon was taken out, no matter how strong the dragon race was, they couldn't resist it. This Azure Dragon was also no match for it. The faces of those from the Divine Union also changed. He said, "Lin Xian, this is not good. We have to make a move too." Lin Xian nodded. He didn't expect these people from the Emperor race to be so impatient. They had used their Emperor race weapons so quickly. At the same time, this also showed how terrifying the Azure Dragon above was. It had already caused these Emperor race members to feel despair. He took a deep breath and prepared to use the power of the ancient, desolate tower. However, at this moment, the situation changed. Chapter 5462. Just as everyone wanted to use their extreme weapons to fight against the Azure Dragon, the situation changed. The Azure Dragon in the sky roared, and his remaining dragon horn suddenly burst out with a blood-red light. A terrifying dragon roar sounded in the sky. Then, the 10,000 Dragons diagram suddenly flew out from the 10,000 Dragons court side. It flew into the sky. It arrived in front of Azure Dragon Zhantian. In the next moment, the 10,000 Dragons diagram erupted with an extremely terrifying power that swept in all directions. Everyone felt like they were about to be destroyed at this moment. Fortunately, they had all brought extreme-grade weapons with them, so they were able to block the attack. However, the monarch race's expressions became ugly. They felt that their extreme power was suppressed here. The people from the 10,000 Dragons court were also shocked. What was going on? The 10,000 Dragons diagram was actually out of control. Long Mu's expression was ugly. She gritted her teeth and said, "I advise you all not to use your extreme weapons. This is the Dragon Emperor's tomb, and the 10,000 Dragons diagram can fully awaken at any time. It might even use the Dragon Emperor's power to crush you all." At that time, It's not certain if you can leave alive. Hearing this, the monarch race's expressions turned ugly. Damn it, how could it be like this? The fire Qilin roared, and Kuan-Ping-zi was also unwilling. The sword elder closed his eyes and sighed. He shook his head. Mansion Master Z helplessly put away the dragon pattern cauldron. The others also took action one after another, retrieving their extreme weapons. When the extreme aura disappeared, the 10,000 dragons diagram in the sky descended again. It returned to the hands of Long Mu and the others. The terrifying destructive aura also disappeared. Seeing this scene, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. It really was like that. It seemed that they couldn't use their extreme weapons casually in the Great Emperor's tomb. But what could they do? With their strength, they couldn't obtain the Azure Dragon's blood at all. Could it be that they had to return empty-handed? The second hall was already so terrifying. If they went further, would they still have a chance? Gu Xiao said that they might have a chance later. The Golden Crow race's sacred ancestor was right. They could give up on the second hall and continue to go deeper. However, at this moment, Long Mu shook her head again. Azure Dragon Zhantian was the guardian of the second hall. If you can't defeat him, you can't continue. Stupid things. I advise you all to scram back. My Dragon Emperor's tomb is not a place for you to behave atrociously. The people from the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty also laughed savagely. Now, they could see that even if they obtained treasures by following these people, it would be pitifully little. Instead, all the good things would be taken away by others. Since that was the case, they naturally didn't want these people to continue moving forward. It would be best if they were killed or beaten back. Therefore, they were the happiest people in this scene. Did he really have to go back? The expressions of these monarch clan members were also ugly. On the other side, the members of the Divine Union were also frowning. What should they do? They all looked at Lin Xian. Would Lin Xian have a solution this time? Lin Xian took a deep breath as a cold light burst out from his eyes. Go back? Impossible. He didn't have enough resources, so he couldn't go back. Taking a deep breath, Lin Xian walked forward. He walked out. When the surrounding people saw this scene, they were all dumbfounded. Look, Lin Wudi is out. What does he want to do? Did he want to fight against Song Long? What kind of joke was this? Who did he think he was? Something that so many of us couldn't do. How could he possibly do it? Everyone looked at Lin Xian and shook their heads. Some of them sneered. They didn't believe it at all. So what if Lin Xian was powerful? He couldn't use his extreme weapons here. No matter how powerful Lin Xian was, his strength was limited. In fact, even the people from the Divine Union were puzzled. What was Bustling going to do? Was he going to use the Great Dragon Sword Soul or the Rinnegan? But even if he used these two absolute arts, would he be able to defeat War Dragon Azure Dragon? One had to know that Song Long could fully awaken his extreme weapons when necessary. He was already in an invincible position. Lin Xian walked forward and looked up at Song Long, who was circling in the sky. He took a deep breath. In the next moment, he said in a deep voice, I don't want to hurt you. I just need that Song Long's blood. Give me your Song Long horn. A calm voice rang out and spread to the surroundings. The surrounding people were stunned. This guy thought that he could get the Song Long horn just by saying a few words? What a joke. Fire Qilin, Zifu, and the rest sneered. Long Mu and the rest of the 1,000 Dragon Court also snorted. In the sky, the terrifying heaven battling Azure Dragon slowly lowered his head. He said in a loud and clear voice, Human, you want to get my Song Long horn? Impossible. Leave quickly or I will destroy all of you. As soon as this voice came out, the surrounding people were stunned. Long Mu and the rest were also stunned. Azure Dragon Zhantian actually spoke, and it was to Ling Xian. Damn it. How is this possible? This kid is too strange, isn't he? Previously, they had used their extreme weapons, but Song Long couldn't even speak. Now that Lin Wudi had stepped forward, he had caused such a phenomenon. It was unbelievable. How did this guy do it? The people from Zifu couldn't believe it. The Gu family gritted their teeth. The people from the 1,000 Dragon Court were even more confused. Why did it feel like Lin Wudi was the one who was related to the Dragon Emperor? Their 10,000 dragon dynasty couldn't do anything here. Hearing Songlong's words, Lin Xian shook his head. I can leave, but I have to get the Songlong blood first. Otherwise, I won't leave. Lin Xian's voice was firm. He didn't back down. Humph! Songlong snorted coldly in the sky. His body emitted a powerful aura that pressed down on Lin Wuti. Lin Xian stomped his foot. Sword chi shot out from his body and pierced the sky. He split the pressure apart. He said, "It's useless. No one can make me retreat." "Human, you are not my match," Songlong said coldly. "Even if you take out the 1,000-dragon picture and the great dragon sword spirit, you won't be able to defeat me. Unless you are a boundary emperor." It was obvious that Songlong could feel two powerful forces on Lin Xian. They were the heaven-devouring jar and the great dragon sword spirit. Lin Xian said, "I am not a boundary emperor, but I believe that I can fight against you because I have this." With that, Lin Xian flipped his palm. The void split open, and he took out a treasure. Everyone's eyes widened as they looked forward. They also wanted to see what trump card Lin Wuti had to be so confident in front of Songlong. Even the people from the Divine Union were curious and looked up. When they saw the treasure in Lin Xian's hand, they were all stunned. Long Mu exclaimed, "This is impossible. How can you have such a thing?" They were all crazy. The people from the Kuanping race and Gu family were also shocked. Is it really that thing? Am I dreaming? The people from Zifu gritted their teeth. Illusion? This must be an illusion. I don't believe it. Chapter 5463. Song Dragon Zhan Tian was too powerful, causing everyone to feel despair. Hence, they felt that, even if Lin Xian walked out, it would be useless. However, Lin Xian, on the other hand, had a trump card. When he took it out, everyone around him was stunned. The Dragon Tribe and the Emperor Tribe were dumbfounded. A treasure appeared in Lin Xian's hand. It was a dragon horn. It was simple and ancient, and there were mysterious patterns on it. It floated in his palm just like that. Dragon horn? Someone realized that it was a dragon horn, and the aura was very familiar. It was the same as Song Dragon Zhan Tian's dragon horn. It was the Song Dragon horn. How could this be? The 1,000 Dragons Empire, Long Mu, and the rest roared in disbelief. The other Emperor Tribe members were also going crazy. How could Lin Wuti have a Song Dragon horn? Furthermore, it was Song Dragon Zhan Tian's. The head of the Purple Mansion frowned. The Song Dragon horn had been missing for tens of thousands of years, and it was in the hands of this kid. Damn it. Was this his trump card? No wonder he was so confident. The Divine Union members laughed out loud. Bai Susu and the rest were excited. Song Dragon horn? Great. With this item, they might be able to win. Song Dragon Zhan Tian roared in the sky. An endless amount of supreme power exploded from his body and swept out in all directions. The surrounding people were on guard. To be honest, he was also shocked that Lin Wuti had this item. His horn had been missing for tens of thousands of years, and now it had appeared again. Lin Xian grabbed the Song Dragon horn and said, "That's right. I have the Song Dragon horn. I can fight with you." Lin Wuti's eyes shone with confidence. Song Dragon Zhan Tian snorted coldly. "Young man, I am surprised that you can take my Song Dragon horn. However, you are not qualified to fight with me." As he spoke, he swept his tail, and it turned into a peerless divine sword and slashed towards Lin Xian. This move had defeated the old swordman of the Purple Mansion Master and displayed its power. Now that it was attacking Lin Xian, everyone was shocked. Lin Xian let out a long roar and activated the Great Dragon Sword Spirit. At the same time, he grabbed the Azure Dragon Horn. Then, he blew it up. A loud and clear dragon roar rang out, reverberating in all directions. At this moment, countless dragon shadows appeared around him, as if they were all kneeling down and submitting to him. In the surroundings, the Wind Dragon Tribe, Lightning Dragon Tribe, and Dragon Sea Tribe were all dumbstruck. Their bodies began to tremble. Damn it! The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty were the same. They raised their heads and roared. The 10,000 dragon picture descended and cut off this aura. The old phoenix of the Phoenix clan exclaimed when he saw this. It was rumored that the azure dragon horn commanded the heroes. In the era when the Dragon Emperor did not appear, he was the king of the dragon race. Looking at it now, it was indeed extraordinary. Although the surrounding people from the monarch clan didn't kneel, they still felt a supreme pressure from this voice. Lin Xian controlled this power and charged towards the azure dragon in the sky. The surrounding dragon shadows flew over in an overwhelming manner. Boom! The attack blocked the dragon's tail and swept towards the dragon's body at the same time. It turned into sound chains that restrained him. The sound of collision could be heard between heaven and earth. The sound of chains clanking continuously made one's scalp go numb. Azure Dragon was furious. His huge body swayed as he roared towards the sky. "Human, going against me is your biggest mistake." With a furious roar, the other azure dragon horn on his head burst out with a blood-red light. Then, it aimed at Lin Xian. At this moment, heaven and earth shook. Everyone felt as if they were facing a great enemy. "Retreat! Retreat quickly!" The surrounding Phoenix clan, Qilin clan, and Kurin Pong clan roared crazily. As for the clan of the ancients, their scalps went numb. They couldn't resist at all, and could only seek the protection of these monarch clans. The few monarch clans didn't dare to be careless. They all took out their extreme aura and formed a shield to block. They knew that War Dragon was enraged by this power. That horn contained the power of the Azure Dragon's blood. This attack was enough to destroy everything. So what if Lin Wuti had an Azure Dragon horn? The entire hall shook violently. The surrounding void kept shattering. It couldn't withstand Azure Dragon War's power at all. In an instant, thousands of black holes appeared between heaven and earth. The light suddenly dimmed. Everyone seemed to have fallen into endless darkness. They trembled in fear and used their extreme aura to defend themselves. Lin Xian was the first to bear the brunt of the attack. He felt the immense pressure, and his body emitted cracking sounds. It seemed like it would break at any time. He roared and pushed his body to the extreme. A sacred fire danced between his eyebrows. His 9 young divine body became even more terrifying. At the same time, his hand holding the Azure Dragon horn became stronger. The great dragon's sword soul roared at the sky as well. So what if you're the Dragon King? So what if you have the Azure Dragon's blood? I, Lin Xian, hold the Azure Dragon horn and command the Dragon Clan. Azure Dragon War, listen to me. Submit. His voice became louder and louder. It was as if a god was roaring. The Azure Dragon's blood spread out and formed a sea of blood that pressed down mercilessly. It could suppress everything in the world. Lin Xian soared into the sky. He raised the Azure Dragon horn with his right hand, and a dragon's roar came from it. The great dragon sword spirit coiled around his right hand, providing him with boundless power. Listen to my command. Submit. Lin Xian roared again. Endless sword light and dragon roars rushed out of his body like a bright light in the dark night. It lit up the entire land. At this moment, everyone raised their heads and looked at the sky. They were incomparably shocked when they saw this scene. Could Lin Wuti succeed? They didn't know. The Divine Union and Murong Qingcheng were nervous. They were worried for Lin Xian. On the other side, the people from the Thousand Dragon Court were gnashing their teeth. Lord Azure Dragon must kill him. Lin Wuti can't be allowed to continue. They were really afraid. Longmu couldn't help but attack again. Buzz. The two sides were in a stalemate. Lin Xian used the Azure Dragon horn to command the dragons to block the Azure Dragon's blood. They were evenly matched. The surrounding people were shocked. Had he really done it? It was unbelievable. The Thunder Dragon tribe's leader's eyes narrowed. The Wind Dragon tribe's leader also felt numb. Could he really command the Azure Dragon? Impossible. The leader of the Purple Mansion clenched his teeth. Lin Wuti had gained another powerful force. The Fire Qilin snorted. So what? It was just a draw. It was impossible for him to command the Azure Dragon War Sky in this lifetime. In the sky, the Azure Dragon War Sky roared. He was furious, and a terrifying light erupted from his eyes. He couldn't accept being challenged by a human. In the next moment, his Azure Dragon horn emitted an even more terrifying light. At the same time, he bared his fangs and brandished his claws, absorbing the power flowing in the hall. His aura was rising. Not good. Retreat quickly. The members of the Gu family felt this change and cried out in alarm. Elder Gu Shao led his people and used the power of the Void Realm to retreat quickly. They left the second hall. Chapter 54-64. The members of the Gu clan left the main hall. Following that, the other clans and sects also left one after another. That was because the aura inside was simply too terrifying. They couldn't withstand it at all. The Divine Union couldn't withstand it either. Although they had two extreme weapons, they couldn't fully awaken them. What should they do? Should they attack? Yin Ruyu asked. Murong Qingqing exclaimed. Brother Xian? Lin Xian said. You guys leave first. Don't worry about me. I have a way. Upon hearing this, Murong Qingqing agreed. All right, we'll leave first. They also left the main hall. Only Songlong and Lin Xian were left in the second hall. Songlong's power was getting more and more terrifying. Humans are useless. You can't withstand it. Even if you have the Songlong horn, you can't suppress me. Unless you're a boundary emperor. Lin Xian snorted. A boundary emperor? I'm not, but I have another kind of power. A mysterious power appeared from the divine flame seed between his eyebrows and spread throughout his body. The moment this power appeared, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. Heaven and earth reversed. A shocking light appeared in the surroundings. Flames danced between heaven and earth. Songlong was stunned. Taking care of the aura? Could it be? He was really shocked. Why did he feel a trace of a boundary emperor's power from Lin Xian? But it shouldn't be. Lin Xian was just a great sage. She was at a loss. In the next moment, Lin Xian roared and activated his power again. With the power of the divine flame seed, Lin Xian became even more terrifying. He rushed over. Boom. The collision between the two was earth-shattering. The second hall was completely drowned by this power. The people outside the hall were shocked when they sensed the remaining power. Their scalps went numb. The people from the Purple Mansion sneered. This time, Lin Wudi was going to die inside. The Golden Crow tribe's divine ancestor snorted. That was for sure. He couldn't withstand it. Shut up. Murong Qingqing's eyes were cold. She looked at these people and said, What's going to happen to Brother Xian? I won't let you have it easy. Yin Ruyu also walked out. She took out the green lotus and said in a deep voice, I will bury you all with me. The green lotus released an extreme aura, and the Golden Crow race's face turned green. The faces of the Z government's people darkened. How hateful! How dare he threaten them? Roar! Suddenly at this time, a terrifying dragon roar came from the front, shocking everyone. What's going on? What happened? They all looked into the second hall, but the laws were flying around inside, and they couldn't see anything. Lin Xian stood in the midst of the chaos, his expression extremely solemn. The divine flame between his eyebrows also disappeared, and his face turned pale. Many cracks appeared on his body. The attack just now had damaged his 9-yang divine body. It was too terrifying. Fortunately, he had the seed of divine flame and the azure dragon horn. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to block that attack. This Songlong Zhantian was indeed worthy of being the king of the dragon clan. The other party was already this horrifying even before becoming a quasi-emperor. Xiao Chun felt that the other party was even more terrifying than Long Mu. At this moment, Songlong Zhantian stopped attacking him and floated there. The other azure dragon horn on his head also broke off, and then turned into azure dragon blood that covered the sky, enveloping Lin Xian. The power of the azure dragon blood was too terrifying. When Lin Xian got close, he felt his physique rumble. Good stuff. Lin Xian's eyes lit up, and he raised his hand to keep it. He used the devouring heaven jar to swallow all the azure dragon blood, and then transferred it to the sword world. Great. Other than the Lu eyes, Lin Xian also obtained the azure dragon blood. The azure dragon blood was also useful to him. Not only could it increase the power of the seed of divine flame, but it could also increase his bloodline, physique, and aura. He didn't know how powerful he would become in the future. Lin Xian was looking forward to it. Outside, The Gu family and the Z government were bewildered. What happened? Suddenly, they realized that the terrifying aura in the second hall was slowly disappearing. The light also dimmed. Then, it disappeared. The result was out. All of them rushed in. Let's go. The people from the Divine Union were even faster. Murong Qingqing led a group of people in. After entering, they were stunned again. At this moment, the attacks in the sky had disappeared, and the hall was calm again. If they hadn't experienced it themselves, they wouldn't have believed that there had been a huge battle. Why didn't they attack that kid? What disappointed the people from the Z government was that they saw Lin Xian. Lin Xian stood there, his body covered in blood and his face pale. However, it seemed like his foundation wasn't injured. Could it be that he had blocked it? No way. Azure Dragon Zhantian didn't kill him. Was it because of the Azure Dragon Horn? Even the people from the 10,000 Dragons court raised their heads to look. However, when they saw Azure Dragon Zhantian in the sky, they were dumbfounded. Where was the Azure Dragon Horn? The other Azure Dragon Horn was gone. Damn it! Could Lin Wuti have obtained the Azure Dragon Blood? Countless eyes fell on Lin Xian. Kid, did you get it? The old sword man walked out, his voice sharp. On the other side, Elder Gu Zhao's eyes lit up. Hand it over. Do you want to keep it for yourself? Impossible. The Fire Qilin was furious. Their eyes were red. The Azure Dragon Blood was terrifying and mysterious. If they had obtained it, they would have benefited greatly. But now, all of them were obtained by Lin Xian alone. How could they not be jealous? Lin Xian turned around and sneered. You want to attack me? Have you thought it through? I'm afraid you can't bear the consequences of going against me. The power of reincarnation exploded in his eyes. He took out the sky-devouring jar. At the same time, Murong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu walked out and took out 2 more Emperor weapons. Fight if you don't accept it. Damn it. The people from the Z government gritted their teeth and joined forces. We also have quite a lot of extreme weapons. The Gu family, the Qilin tribe, the Z government, and the 10,000 Dragon Court had 4 extreme weapons. Long Mu from the 10,000 Dragon Court was also furious. Hand it over. It belongs to the 10,000 Dragon Court. He was going crazy. If he could obtain some of the Azure Dragon Blood, he might be able to become a true boundary emperor. How could he not make a move? These people walked forward together. Lin Xian snorted. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Then, he waved his hand and took out the Azure Dragon Horn. Roar. I forgot to tell you that Azure Dragon Zhantian has acknowledged me. I can use the Azure Dragon Horn to make him attack. Do you think you can resist? With that said, Lin Xian activated the Blue Dragon Horn. The Azure Dragon, War Sky, also let out a low roar. Damn it! Why did it turn out like this? Long Mu gritted his teeth. The other people from the Emperor tribe had ugly looks on their faces. If Azure Dragon Zhantian attacked, they would have no chance. Previously, they had wanted to use their extreme weapons to attack Lin Xian, but they had almost been scared away. Now that Lin Wuti and the others from the Divine Union and Azure Dragon Zhantian attacked them together, they would not be able to resist. However, they were shocked that Lin Xian could control Azure Dragon Zhantian. Chapter 5465. Despicable brat, just you wait. The Fire Qilin was the first to give up. The Gu family also kept their void mirror. Next, Zifu and the others gritted their teeth. Only Long Mu roared, Despicable brat, just you wait. I'll get the Azure Dragon blood back sooner or later. He wasn't confident that he could do it alone. Lin Xian sneered, unmoved. Then, he found a corner in the hall, sat down cross-legged, and began to recover. She was injured from the previous battle, not to mention that the martial monarch tomb was extremely dangerous. He had to recover to his peak before he dared to continue. Although he didn't know how dangerous it would be, he was lucky to have the Azure Dragon Horn this time. Otherwise, it would be difficult to defeat the other party. It would be very troublesome. Murong Qingqing and the others stood guard beside him. Zifu and the others saw that there was no chance, so they gritted their teeth and snorted. Let's go. This time, they were prepared to set off first. They couldn't let Lin Wuti lead the way. If the other party set off first, they wouldn't be able to get anything. Therefore, after some discussion, they took the lead and walked further into the passage. Toad's eyes turned red when he saw this. Should he chase after them? Morong Qingqing said, "No, let them go. Brother Xian's safety is the most important. We have to guard this place." Yin Ruyu smiled and said, "It's useless. You've seen the two halls. If it weren't for Lin Xian, these people wouldn't have gotten anything. Therefore, it didn't matter if they left first." Next, the people from the Divine Union stopped. After about 5 days, Lin Xian opened his eyes. He had recovered his strength. He had recovered from his injuries. He looked around and said, "Where are those people?" Bai Susu said, "Those people seem to be afraid of you, so they left first." Lin Xian smiled when he heard this. Indeed, these people were too sullen. However, he shook his head. The road ahead wasn't going to be easy. These people would probably be at a disadvantage. Let's go. Even if there are formations and traps, they'll probably help us clear them. Let's go. Next, Lin Xian and the others continued on their journey, heading forward and entering the passageway once again. Sure enough, the pressure they felt this time was much less than before. With someone leading the way, things were indeed different. On the way, the Crimson Dragon asked, "Boy, did you really get Songlong Shui?" Lin Xian nodded and said, "Of course, I'll give you some when we get out." The Crimson Dragon was also a member of the Dragon Clan, so they naturally needed these things. The Crimson Dragon's eyes lit up. He couldn't wait. He was right. Can you really control Azure Dragon War Sky? Wouldn't it be better to summon him and fly with us? Lin Xian rolled his eyes. Controlling War Dragon? You believe it? I was just fooling them. F***CK. The Crimson Dragon jumped up. Didn't I say it? I had my suspicions back then, but those Emperor clans were really scared silly. The people from the Divine Union laughed. If these people from the Emperor race had joined forces, they would have been in danger. Fortunately, these monarch race beings were all scared of Songlong Zhantian previously. Therefore, he didn't dare to make a move. They walked for another 3 days. They didn't encounter any danger during these 3 days. Lin Xian had already started to let the Divine Flame Seed continue to absorb power. He could already feel a trace of power being released by the Divine Flame Seed. The power of the Divine Flame was a power that surpassed the Sage stage, even though he was still a Sage. However, Lin Xian could also feel the benefits this power brought to him. He reckoned that this trip to the ancient tomb would allow him to break through and reach the Divine Ancestor realm. That way, he would stand at the peak of the Great Sage stage and be only a step away from becoming a true Boundary Emperor. Lin Xian was looking forward to that day. However, he knew that he didn't have enough power now. He had to divide the power he obtained into many portions. One portion would be for the Divine Flame Seed, and some would be left for Morong Qingqing and the others. Of course, he still had to provide power to the Sword World. The Sword World was even more mysterious and required an endless amount of power to recover. Lin Xian also wanted to know what secrets the Sword World was hiding. Therefore, although he had obtained a lot of precious power during this period, Lin Xian felt that it wasn't enough. He needed more. On the 4th day, an angry roar came from the front. At the same time, light shone in. The people of the Divine Union exclaimed. Great, they were about to leave the passage. Yin Ruyu frowned. The sound of fighting was so terrifying. Were these people from the Emperor race fighting over something? The toad jumped up. Damn, could there be treasures? He jumped out with a swoosh and increased his speed. I'll go take a look too. Little White also flew out and stepped on a cotton cloud. The eyes of the others lit up. They knew that Little White was a treasure hunter. The last time it came out was for the dragon scale fruit. After obtaining the dragon scale tree, Little White hid in the Sword World and ate the dragon scale fruit. Now that it had come out again, it meant that it had sensed a treasure. Furthermore, it must be a treasure like a spirit fruit. It seemed like there was going to be a big harvest again. Lin Xian smiled. They quickened their pace. Soon, they left the passage. Looking at the scene ahead, Lin Xian felt dizzy. Morong Qingqing and the others were even more amazed. Even the usually calm old phoenix was stunned. Could this be? Were they really dumbfounded? Haha, we're rich. The toad roared excitedly. The crimson dragon also roared at the sky. Little White rode on a cotton cloud and started to shuttle back and forth. Mine, mine, all mine. In front of them was a huge courtyard filled with spiritual herbs. Every set was priceless, and these were all extinct in the outside world. Everyone was excited. The spiritual herbs in the Dragon Emperor's tomb were most likely planted by the Dragon Emperor back then. Even if they weren't, how precious would they be if they grew in the tomb of the Emperor? Attack! Lin Xian waved his hand, and the people of the Divine Union all rushed out. Even Morong Qingcheng and Yin Ruyu couldn't stay calm. The people from the Emperor race in front of them attacked even more fiercely. Previously, they had set off a few days in advance and had been attacked by arrays and puppets along the way. However, they were all blocked by them and finally left the passage. When they came out, they found this spiritual herb garden. Their eyes turned red instantly, and a huge battle broke out. This time, they had made the right choice by setting off early. They had to get these spiritual herbs. The other emperor races were originally in an alliance. However, in an instant, the alliance was broken. They were all fighting their own battles. The people from the Thousand Dragon Court also couldn't help but attack. As the Tombkeeper, Long Mu couldn't attack the spiritual herbs directly. However, he could kill other people. As long as someone snatched the spiritual herbs, he could kill them and take them back. Then, he wouldn't be punished by the Emperor's tomb. Therefore, his attacks were even more terrifying. Anyone who was targeted by him was killed. Damn it, it's Lin Wudi and the others. The people from the Divine Union are here. The Gu family elder roared. They used their void techniques to the extreme. The people from the Purple Mansion sect also shouted, "Attack quickly." They knew how terrifying Lin Xian was, so they didn't want to give him a chance. Chapter 5466. After seeing Lin Xian's arrival, the surrounding emperors and remote antiquity families quickly made their moves. They wanted to get ahead of Lin Xian. The Qilin's son roared angrily, "Get lost." In front of them, there was a set of spiritual herbs that were extremely red as if they were made of blood. There was an extremely ancient and powerful aura on them. The blood jade ancient medicine was very precious and could no longer be seen outside. On the other side, the Purple Mansion Master also roared angrily. He was fighting with the powerhouses of the Golden Crow clan and the Gu clan. They were fighting over a black flower. It had an extremely cold aura that shot into the sky. It was the earthly fiend netherworld flower. It was also extinct outside and could only be seen in the Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb. The Dragon Sea clan, the Golden Crow clan, and the Kuan-Pong clan also attacked. There were countless ancient medicines around them that were extremely precious. When Lin Xian saw this scene, his eyes also burst out with an extremely sharp light. What a good opportunity. He looked up to the sky and laughed. In the next moment, he rushed over and attacked the Qilin's son. The Qilin's son roared angrily, "Get lost." He used the Qilin arm and attacked Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly and used the Heavens battle map to block the attack. At the same time, the Heavens battle map exploded with unparalleled power and slashed in all directions. The Qilin's son kept retreating. The Qilin's son gritted his teeth so hard that they were about to break. At this moment, Lin Xian attacked again. It was the demon god fist. The black fist connected heaven and earth like a demonic dragon and sent the Qilin's son flying. Next to him, the people who were fighting with the Qilin's son also changed their target and attacked Lin Xian. They knew that Lin Xian was the most difficult to deal with. Terrifying flames, terrifying lightning, and a sky full of ice and snow fell from the sky. It seemed to have turned into several worlds and enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian roared angrily. Monstrous sword chi rushed out of his body and slashed the powerhouse of the Golden Crow clan away. With a few more slashes, the Ice Snow tribe and the Thunder Dragon tribe were sent flying. His attacks were powerful and bold. The ultimate skills in his hands, coupled with the firmament battle diagram, were extremely terrifying. Finally, he obtained the ancient blood jade medicine. Then, his figure flickered as he charged toward the Z Mansion. The Great Annihilation Spear was filled with boundless demon chi as it shot towards the Purple Mansion Lord. The Purple Mansion's Mansion Lord shouted angrily and used his mysterious palm to block the attack. He grabbed the Spear of Great Destruction. However, Lin Xian only sneered. The 9-sun divine flame on his body burst forth, and along with the Great Annihilation Spear, he flew towards the Purple Mansion Master. Feeling the power of the flame, Zifu's expression also changed. Why did it have a mysterious aura? Her big purple hand turned to ash, and she retreated. At this moment, a cold sneer sounded behind Lin Xian. The Gu family's elder appeared in the blink of an eye, using the Void God Finger, Void Palm, and Void Exile. All kinds of ultimate skills rushed out, and instantly, Lin Xian was surrounded by them. Lin Xian disappeared in an instant, but not long after, he used the Hell Sword to split open the void and returned. He shouted angrily, and the firmament battle diagram flew towards the 3 Gu family's experts. The Gu family's experts appeared and disappeared unpredictably, and they blocked the diagram. Lin Xian snorted and locked onto his target. Dragon-shaped sword chi flew out, and the 3 of them were sent flying. The 3 Gu family's elders' faces were ugly. Damn it, the invincible power made them feel like they were facing a great enemy. It seemed to be able to restrain them. Let me do it. The old sword man shouted angrily. He was a powerful divine ancestor, and he was an expert of the sword Dao. His strength was terrifying. He slashed out with the broken sword in his hand, and it turned into a bolt of lightning that split the sky and the earth. Competing in swordsmanship? Let me see how powerful you are, an expert of the sword Dao. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a terrifying light. The Hellfire Dragon's sword flew out, and it seemed to have turned into a Hell Dragon, sweeping across the surroundings. The two collided, and a sonorous sound rang out. Sword light danced and swept across the 9 heavens. Azura sword technique. At this moment, Lin Xian's swordsmanship changed again, appearing and disappearing unpredictably. A sword chi suddenly appeared behind the old swordman, leaving a sword mark on his back. The old swordman's body swayed, and his expression changed drastically. It was actually the Sword of Slaughter. He didn't expect Lin Xian to know such a sword technique. He shouted angrily, "Sword of Heaven!" There were only a few broken swords, and the terrifying power was like a piece of heaven, pressing down from the sky and surrounding him. Not only did it block the terrifying Sword of Slaughter, but it could also attack Lin Xian. Lin Xian shouted angrily and transformed into a dragon. He waved his dragon claws and tore apart the Sword of Heaven. Then, another dragon claw slammed onto the old swordman's body, tearing his shoulder into pieces. The old swordman was injured and flew out. His expression became ugly. At this moment, Lin Xian swept his dragon tail and kept the Earth Fiend Netherworld flower. Then, he attacked again. Before long, he had snatched 5 stalks of ancient herbs. This made him extremely happy. The other people's expressions turned ugly. This was because the herbs that Lin Xian had snatched were extremely precious. Many experts and divine ancestors had their eyes on them. Damn it, let's kill him together. Otherwise, none of us will be able to get them. The Purple Mansion Master gritted his teeth. The Fire Qilin and the others also looked gloomy. They were prepared to attack Lin Xian together. They would eliminate the other party first. The remaining people were of similar strength, and then they would rely on their own abilities. Otherwise, none of them would be able to get anything good with Lin Xian around. You want to attack me? Lin Xian sneered. The people of the Divine Union wanted to come over and help, but Lin Xian waved his hand. There was no need. They could snatch their own opportunities. They wouldn't be able to do anything to me. With that, he waved his hand and the heaven-devouring jar appeared, releasing a terrifying message. Instantly, an endless black hole appeared between heaven and earth. Damn it, do you think we don't have it? The Purple Mansion Master took out the Dragon Cauldron. The Gu family took out the Void Mirror. The Qilin clan also took out an extreme weapon. The extreme weapon of the Qilin clan was the Qilin Divine Furnace. It was an ancient furnace. The moment it appeared, it released a monstrous light. An ancient Qilin image was carved on it. Boundless flames danced and flickered. This extreme weapon contained incomparable flames. Its power seemed to be able to burn the 9 heavens. An extreme aura was released. A terrifying extreme danger swept out in all directions. At this moment, everyone in the herb garden was stunned. They acted as if they were facing a great enemy and didn't dare to attack. Instead, they watched in horror. The people of the remote ancient families were in despair. Were the Emperor clans finally going to launch their strongest attack? Once the extreme weapons were out, only the Emperor clans would be able to fight against each other. They had no chance at all. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court had cold expressions. They also took out the 10,000 Dragon picture and prepared to attack. On the other side, Little White Speed was extremely fast. He was an expert at finding treasures. The moment the treasure bowl appeared, the faces of countless people around turned black, because the treasures that they had their eyes on were all snatched away by the little monkey. Many people gritted their teeth and began to chase after the other party. However, Little White stepped on a cotton cloud and was extremely fast. Not long after, he arrived beside Lin Xian. He made faces at the people around him. That damned monkey. The surrounding people gnashed their teeth in anger. Someone said that they would attack Lin Wudi together and eliminate him. These people were prepared to use their extreme weapons. Murong Qingqing and Yin Ruyu also returned and took out their extreme weapons to confront each other. A great battle was about to erupt. However, at this moment, the pupils of the Emperor clans constricted and their expressions changed. Not good. Chapter 5467. Just as they were about to use their extreme weapons, the Emperor clan members were stunned. The next moment, their faces turned ugly. They realized that they couldn't activate their extreme weapons. Damn it, what's going on? My body is out of control. The Fire Qilin roared in horror. On the other side, Kuan Pingzi was also terrified. He could only stand there as if his entire body had been sealed. Damn it, who had attacked her? The Golden Crow tribe members were terrified. They couldn't move either. Damn Lin Wudi, how dare you plot against us? They roared crazily. At this moment, everyone could only stare at Lin Xian. However, they soon realized that this wasn't the case. Lin Xian couldn't move either. Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the Divine Union members also felt as if their bodies had been sealed and their souls couldn't come out. What was going on? The surrounding people roared crazily. Who had attacked her? Lin Xian was also shocked. The old phoenix frowned and said, "Looks like we were careless. The previous 2 palaces had terrifying guardians. How could there be no guardians in this herb garden?" By Susu, and the others exclaimed. They were really careless. Even Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. He also felt a huge suppression. At this moment, a voice came from the herb garden. "How dare you come to the royal spirit garden? You're courting death." Who was speaking? The Gu family elder roared. The old swordman and the others also began to search. However, their bodies were being controlled and they couldn't find anyone. At this moment, some people realized that a spirit herb had suddenly risen from the herb garden in front of them. It transformed into a blurry shadow. It was a dragon shadow, bearing its fangs but no claws as it spiraled in the air. It wasn't big, not even half a meter long. However, it emitted a mysterious aura. "Stupid ants, I'm in charge of guarding the royal spirit garden under the orders of the Dragon Emperor. You people don't know what's good for you. How dare you come here to steal ancient herbs? You deserve to die." Damn it, they had been careless. There were guardians here. Royal Spirit Garden. What a terrifying name. Did this mean that the power here could control gods? The people from the Emperor clan were also alarmed. Lin Xian's face was cold. His eyes flickered with a shocking light as he stared ahead. The people of the 10,000 Dragons dynasty also cried out in surprise. Long Mu's voice was trembling. Could it be that he was a mirage dragon? Mirage dragon. It was a type of dragon that was very rare and strange. That was because the illusion dragon was an expert in illusions. Who would have thought that they would encounter one here? The mirage dragon in front flew over. "Are you the descendants of the Dragon Emperor? How dare he come here with them to be so presumptuous?" Her voice was bright. The 10,000 Dragon Dynasty's people were terrified. Longmu said, "No, you misunderstood. We are not with them. We are here to stop him. However, they have more people, and many of them are from the earthly Arch race. The number of extreme Dao weapons they have far exceeds ours. We can't stop them at all. Therefore, he could only follow them all the way and see if there was an opportunity to capture them all in one fell swoop. This was the best opportunity for him. You control him, and we'll kill him." When he said this, Longmu's eyes lit up. This was indeed the best chance. The Emperor race was controlled, and even Lin Wudi couldn't fight back. As long as he attacked, he could definitely send them all to hell. When the others heard this, their expressions changed. The Fire Qilin hollered in rage. "You dare?" Longmu laughed coldly. "Why wouldn't I dare? You came to the Dragon Emperor tomb to behave so arrogantly. Do you really think that the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty is easy to bully? Today, I will let you know what regret is. Not good. They were really going to attack. Gu family, Zifu, and the others' expressions all turned ugly. "We are in an alliance," they said. Longmu scoffed coldly. "Alliance? When Lin Wudi attacked the tomb, which one of you stepped out to help us? Now you are in an alliance? What a joke. Damn it, charge. Use the power of the extreme Dao to break through these controls." The Emperor race people hollered. They used their extreme Dao weapons, but they couldn't move at all. Their bodies were sealed. To be exact, their souls were being controlled. They couldn't move according to their will. Mirage Dragon laughed coldly. "It's useless. Stop resisting. I am using a mind illusion technique. None of you can escape. In this Imperial God Garden, I am the ruler." After saying this, he waved his dragon claw, and the control over the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty disappeared. After the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty members recovered, they all exclaimed. Then, they were delighted. That was great. They came beside these people and laughed coldly. "Continue being arrogant. You are stealing our Dragon Emperor's treasures. All of this is ours." They started to attack and took the storage rings from these experts. These people roared emotionally into the sky. Previously, they followed along. As they were the descendants of the Dragon Emperor, they couldn't attack directly. So, they could only attack others in secret. They only got a few treasures. It could be said that they got the least out of all of them. Looking at the other families snatching their treasures, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty was so angry that they gritted their teeth. Now, they finally had a chance. "So what if you snatched more? They were all ours." They laughed coldly as they snatched the storage rings. Longmu raised his blade and started to kill. Many people died just like that. A sea of blood surrounded the area. The others went crazy. However, when it came to the Emperor race, there was a problem. Although these people from the Emperor race couldn't attack, it wasn't easy to kill these people. This was because the extreme Dao weapons couldn't be controlled. Even if no one used them, they could still automatically defend. This made the people from the Emperor race heave a sigh of relief. Longmu's attack was blocked. His expression was cold. He looked at Huanlong and said, "These people weren't easy to kill, but they couldn't leave either. It was better to control them here. After a few thousand years, their lifespan would run out and they would naturally turn to ashes." "Damn it, how dare you!" The people from the Emperor race roared. They were really terrified. If they continued to stay like this, the extreme Dao weapons wouldn't attack. Only when they were attacked would they passively defend. But if they didn't attack, they might really die here. "Lin Wudi, what can you do?" The Fire Qilin roared crazily. The others also looked at Lin Xian. Because, previously, when they were in despair in the first two halls, it was Lin Xian who attacked and swept through all directions. They could only continue after defeating the Guardians. Now, they were in the most dangerous situation, so they naturally looked at Lin Xian. The people from the Divine Union also had hope. Yes, every time they were in danger, it was Lin Gongzi who helped them out. Lin Xian was the leader of the Divine Union, so he naturally had a way. He could do it in the past, so he definitely could this time. Chapter 5468. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. To be honest, he did not expect something like this to happen. Even he had fallen for it. Previously, he had been able to contend with the two guardians because the enemy was obvious and had displayed great strength and characteristics. He could restrain the other party based on their mystique. However, this time, it was extremely strange. Even he was controlled by the soul attack. This should be a mind illusion. He opened his Rinnegan and prepared to resist. His Rinnegan was also suppressed, but it could still emit the light of reincarnation. A terrifying reincarnation aura emerged, causing the faces of the people of Wan Longchao to change. Damn it, this Lin Wuti is not completely under my control. Long Mu said, kill him. We have to find a way to kill him. He killed our dragon prince. What? Huan Long was instantly stunned. In the next moment, he was enraged. He was guarding this place under the orders of the Dragon Emperor. To be honest, he could no longer be considered a true spiritual body because he had merged with the entire Royal God Garden. There was an array in the Royal God Garden, and he was Zhang Lin. That was why he had been able to survive for so many years. As for the previous guardians, they were all puppets. At this moment, he was enraged after hearing what Lin Wuti said. The Dragon Prince, the son of the Dragon Emperor, was the continuation of the bloodline. However, he was now dead. He had been killed by this brat in front of him. His eyes glowed fiercely as he stared at Lin Xian. Go to hell. With a roar, he launched an attack, his soul power crushing down. However, the heaven-devouring jar in Lin Xian's hand suddenly erupted. As though he felt threatened, he unleashed a devouring vortex to resist. A deafening sound rang out, and the ancient, desolate tower rumbled. The green lotus shook and a series of chain reactions appeared, causing Huan Long's face to turn ugly. Long Mu was also gritting his teeth. He could kill the people of the Divine Union first. These were all people around him. He would kill them one by one, and let them know what despair was. As he spoke, Long Mu strode forward. With a wave of his dragon claws, he killed 2 Divine Union elites. Damn it! By Susu, and the others roared crazily. The Crimson Dragon's eyes also turned red. Lin Xian's expression darkened. He stared at Long Mu and said, Old man, I'll make you regret this. I will kill you to avenge my brothers in the Divine Union. You want to kill me? Long Mu laughed coldly. You won't have a chance in this lifetime. He was ready to attack again, but Lin Xian roared angrily. His Rinnegan turned into a reincarnation light blade and attacked the opponent. Long Mu was given a fright. He struck out with an attack, colliding with it. In the next moment, his face darkened. The strength of the Rinnegan was so terrifying that it could even summon the Samsara sword. Now, Lin Xian could summon a phantom of the Samsara sword, which was already very terrifying. It might even be able to cut through this illusion. Therefore, he absolutely could not allow such a thing to happen. He said to Mirage Dragon, controlling him with all his strength. This brat's eyes were Rinnegan, which was very strange. Rinnegan? Huanlong was equally shocked when he heard this. It was truly unexpected. Who would have thought that such eyes would appear again? Don't worry, he is an enemy of the dragon tribe. I won't let him go. I will erase his soul and turn him into a puppet. Spiritual storm. Mirage Dragon roared and waved his dragon claws. An even more terrifying soul power emerged, turning into a storm. The surrounding people felt their scalps go numb. Although it wasn't an attack, they were already facing a great enemy. No one would be able to withstand such a soul attack. Lin Wuti might have been able to, but he was being controlled now. Did he really have a chance? They were all worried. Lin Xian's face also turned cold. He could feel the terrifying storm attacking his soul. With a roar, he closed his left eye and his right eye. His Rinnegan suddenly burst out with an extremely shocking light. It formed the 6 paths world to resist. A sonorous sound rang out. Lin Xian stood there like the king of Samsara. He shouted coldly, You want to kill me? Impossible. The great dragon's sword soul in his body roared. Endless sword chi rushed out and swept in all directions. Those storms were all cleaved apart. Not only that, but Lin Xian also felt the seal on his body shaking. It was about to break. Damn it! How could it be? He could actually resist the spiritual illusion. Mirage Dragon was stunned. What kind of power was this? Long Mu's face also changed. He forgot to tell you that in addition to the Rinnegan, he also had the Great Dragon Sword Soul. It was an indestructible power that could split everything. Damn it, why didn't you say so earlier? Mirage Dragon was furious. He had naturally heard of the Great Dragon Sword. It was an offensive saint technique between heaven and earth, but the other party could actually obtain it. Even the Dragon Emperor didn't get it back then. I'll kill you and give your Great Dragon Sword Soul to the Dragon Emperor as a sacrifice. Mirage Dragon gritted his teeth. He formed a seal with his dragon claws, and an even more terrifying soul power appeared. It suddenly appeared in front of Lin Xian's soul, wanting to tear it apart. Lin Xian roared angrily. The Rinnegan bloomed. The heavenly path of reincarnation. The path of reincarnation formed a shield to defend. The path of reincarnation merged with him, making his body incomparably mysterious to resist. At the same time, Lin Xian said coldly, "Do you all want me to save you?" Those Emperor race people said, "Of course, we can join hands." Join hands? No need. I think I can handle it myself, but I can also save you all. I need you all to agree to one condition. What condition? The Fire Qilin frowned. Kuan Pengzi also said that as long as he could save them, he would agree. He really didn't want to be trapped here. The others were also silent. They wanted to hear what Lin Wudi wanted. Lin Xian said, "Very simple. I won't make things difficult for you. Give me half of the ancient medicine you got from the Imperial God Garden." What? Hearing this, the Purple Mansion Lord roared, "Damn it. Why don't you just rob?" The Fire Qilin gritted his teeth. "Lin Wudi, don't go overboard." Overboard? Lin Xian smiled. "We are all old friends, so I said that. If I really went overboard, I could do what Wan Longqiao did and just snatch your storage rings." Hearing this, the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty people's faces turned cold. They cursed in their hearts. Not good. This Lin Wudi was too cunning. If he really snatched their storage rings, he would anger the Emperor race people. At that time, the Emperor race people would definitely fight back. But Lin Wudi didn't do that and only took half. Since that was the case, the Emperor race people hated the Dragon race the most. Because the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty snatched all the resources. If these people obtained freedom, they would definitely attack the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty. This was why Long Mu roared, "Huan Long, hurry up and control him. Don't let him out, otherwise, we will be in danger." Huan Long scoffed coldly. "Don't worry, even if he wanted to come out, it would be impossible in this lifetime." Chapter 5469. Lin Xian said in a low voice, "Have you guys thought it through? You only have one chance. When the time comes, I'll take the divine union away. Don't regret it. Wait, let us think about it." The Fire Qilin said through gritted teeth, "I agree to give you half of the spiritual herbs." Kuan Pengzi spoke at this moment. The moment he said this, the expressions of the other monarch race members changed drastically. The Gu family added, "Our Gu family is also willing." Damn it. The Purple Mansion Master roared. A bunch of cowards. Joining forces with these people was really infuriating. This way, they would be alone. In the end, she could only grit her teeth. "All right, I agree to your request." Since these monarch race members had agreed, there weren't many people left in the remote antiquity family. Many of them had already been killed. Therefore, they could only say that they were willing. "We are willing." Very good. Hearing this, Lin Xian's lips curled up. Murong Qingsheng and the others also smiled. The monarch race was now under Lin Xian's control. They all understood that Lin Xian had saved these monarch race members not because he was being kind, but because these monarch race members were useful. Firstly, the Thousand Dragon Court had already angered these monarch race members. If these monarch race members were rescued, these people would definitely deal with the Thousand Dragon Court. Lin Xian could get someone else to do the dirty work. Furthermore, he still needed the help of these monarch race members. After all, no one knew what would happen in the end. When the time came, they could work together to get more extreme weapons. Perhaps they would have to fight against the Dragon Emperor's corpse in the end. Therefore, Lin Xian's decision was very correct. The 1,000 Dragon Court members had ugly expressions. They attacked. Long Mu roared and took the lead to attack Lin Xian. The 1,000 Dragon Court members also started attacking the Divine Union members crazily. They wanted to kill these people before the other party rushed out. The 3 extreme weapons were attacked and automatically started to defend themselves. The 1,000 Dragons diagram erupted and suppressed the 3 extreme weapons. However, that was all it could do. It wasn't enough. Mirage Dragon, provide me with power to completely revive the 1,000 Dragons diagram. Long Mu's eyes were filled with killing intent. Now was the best opportunity. Back then, it was these 3 extreme weapons that had killed Long Huangji. Now, Long Mu wanted revenge. He wanted to use an ultimate weapon to suppress the 3 of them. All right, Mirage Dragon nodded. I'll activate the power of the Imperial Forest Gardens formation and gather the power of the spirit herbs for you. However, there is only one chance, and you have to grasp it. Don't worry, there won't be any mistakes. Long Mu was very confident. He was about to become a quasi-emperor. How could there be any mistakes? Lin Wudi, hurry up! Fire Qilin roared. If Lin Wudi died, they would be next. Headmaster Zi also shouted angrily. Can you do it or not? Lin Xian smiled. What's the rush? Swear on your Dao hearts first. I don't trust you. Damn it. The Purple Mansion's mansion lord had gone crazy. At such a critical moment, he still had the mood to joke around. However, they had no other choice. They quickly used their Dao hearts to swear an oath and decided to give the other party half of the spiritual herbs. Lin Xian nodded in satisfaction. Don't worry, it's impossible for him to kill me. A terrifying flame appeared between Lin Xian's eyebrows. Although it was only the size of a fingernail, it carried a supreme and mysterious power. He said coldly, Royal Divine Garden? This Long Shoutian was really arrogant. Wasn't he just slapped in the face? Why did he hate the entire divine path? However, did he have the right to control the gods? He said coldly. He naturally knew that he had slapped the other party's face 90,000 years ago, causing the other party to be unable to fuse with the divine fire. As a result, the other party walked the immortal path. Therefore, he was filled with hatred towards the entire divine path. Huanlong was also shocked. He only found out about this secret later. This was the origin of the name Royal Divine Garden. How did he know? One had to know that other than him, Long Mu didn't know about this. Who was this kid? He didn't know, but he also launched his ultimate attack. Soul Destruction. Lin Xian shouted coldly. The great dragon's sword soul in his body roared. Previously, he was the first to enter the Dragon Emperor's tomb. When he entered, the great dragon's sword soul had absorbed an extremely mysterious power. This made the great dragon's sword soul stronger than before. Therefore, he used it now. In addition, he had obtained a lot of resources along the way. He had been providing these resources to the Divine Flame Seed. Now, the Divine Flame Seed was stronger than when he first obtained it. The power of the Divine Flame was also displayed. The two powers exploded together. Instantly, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. The soul illusion that was suppressing him also shook violently. A crack. Finally, a crack appeared. Then, it shattered like a mirror. Lin Xian felt the control on his body disappear. In the next moment, he roared, and the demonic aura on his body surged. He succeeded. Murong Qingcheng was overjoyed. In the Purple Mansion, the people of the Gu family were also shocked. This Lin Wudi was really capable. Without using the power of an extreme weapon, he could still break through the control. Not good. Huanlong was shocked. His mind control was broken. He suffered a backlash. His body swayed and became much dimmer. Long Mu shouted angrily, Die! The 10,000 dragons diagram erupted with endless power. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He was even faster. He used the heaven-swallowing jar to instantly attack. It turned into a black pillar of light and charged forward. He didn't attack the 10,000 dragons diagram. Instead, he charged directly toward the Gu family. The Gu family elders' faces turned green. Lin Wuti wasn't going to kill them, was he? But in the next moment, the power of the heaven-swallowing jar shattered the control on their bodies. Only then did they heave a sigh of relief. It seemed that Lin Wuti was a man of his word. Lin Xian roared. Use the void mirror's spatial teleportation. Otherwise, we won't be able to resist at all. It seemed that the 10,000 dragons diagram was going to fully recover this time. He was already too late. Even half of the heaven-devouring jar was still a little lacking in comparison. Therefore, Lin Xian immediately saved the Gu family. The Gu family members had mastered void divine abilities and the void mirror. They could use their spatial techniques to dodge this attack. Don't worry, leave it to us. After the Gu family elders came out, they also roared angrily. They instantly used the void mirror. It emitted endless void power, and the light that descended enveloped everyone. In the next moment, their figures instantly dimmed. Void and reality conversion. Everyone's bodies instantly became illusory. They had actually been teleported. This was a unique spatial divine ability. When the power of the 10,000 dragons diagram enveloped them, the surrounding sky and earth collapsed, but their bodies were not affected. It was useless. They hadn't fully recovered and couldn't resist at all. As expected, the Gu family elders' expressions also became ugly. The power of the 10,000 dragons diagram was becoming more and more terrifying. Although their bodies were teleported into the void, they were still affected. What should they do? The others were also in despair. Could it be that they were going to be turned into ashes under this attack? Chapter 5470. Facing this world-destroying attack, the monarch race's faces were filled with despair. Lin Xian's lips curled up into a smile. He was the first to remove the Gu family's control. Firstly, he wanted to increase his strength. Secondly, the Gu family's spatial teleportation could buy him some time. Therefore, this period of time was enough. During this time, Lin Xian opened the Kuan Pong clan's Yin-Yang Cauldron and the Fire Qilin clan's Qilin Divine Furnace. As soon as the two monarch clans obtained power, they roared into the sky. Their extreme weapons were also bursting forth rapidly. Finally, the extreme weapons collided together and blocked the shocking attack of the 10,000 dragons diagram. The monarch race's people all heaved a sigh of relief. Next, Lin Xian helped them remove the restrictions one by one. Damn it! Long Mu gritted his teeth. His only chance was gone. The people of the 10,000 Dragons dynasty also sighed. Huan Long snorted coldly. His methods were indeed strong. But so what? This was the Dragon Emperor Gu Mu, and it was the Imperial God Garden. He was the supreme existence here. He would let them know how powerful he was. He shouted coldly, and the surrounding array erupted once again. The others also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. Using extreme weapons, the people of the Purple Mansion roared. However, when they used their extreme weapons again, they found that their minds shook as if they were being controlled again. Not good. The old Phoenix of the Phoenix clan also exclaimed. They couldn't use extreme weapons so easily. It seemed that there were restrictions here. Once they used extreme weapons, they would be controlled by the mind illusion. What old Phoenix said was true, the others also sensed it. Their expressions became ugly. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He didn't use any extreme weapons. Instead, he charged over. The 6 paths of reincarnation in the Rinnegan completely bloomed, forming a terrifying light. In the next instant, it turned into the light of the reincarnation sword and slashed forward. The sword slashed out and collided with the opponent's array. Mirage Dragon's face also changed greatly. He did not expect this. He didn't expect the opponent's Rinnegan to be so terrifying. The earth-shattering collision shattered mountains and rivers. Everything ceased to exist. When the reincarnation sword's illusion disappeared, the entire Imperial God Garden was split open. Even the peerless Great Formation was torn apart. The Mirage Dragon roared crazily. Damn it, he was not willing to accept this. He had been beaten back into a formation. The others were also incomparably shocked. Lin Wuti was really too powerful. Lin Xian closed his Rinnegan and sighed. The Samsara sword was indeed very powerful. However, its power was too strong, and he could only use it once at a time. He still had to wait for a long time before he could use it again. Otherwise, his eyes alone would be invincible. However, the effect was very good. At least the Mirage Dragon was defeated. That was great. The other Emperor clans also let out a sigh of relief. At this time, a Crimson Dragon walked out, looked at those Monarch race people and sneered. We've saved you, so shouldn't we hand over half of the spirit herbs? Don't worry, we won't go back on our words. Kuan-Ping-zi said. Previously, it was all thanks to Lin Xian. He had saved them, and the Kuan-Ping race had to hand over half of the spiritual herbs they had obtained. Next, the Gu family, the Qilin race, the Purple Mansion, and all the other families and sects handed over half of the ancient herbs. The Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others came to collect them. Lin Xian did not move, because he was waiting for the moment these people handed over the spirit herbs. Suddenly, he shouted coldly and used the extreme Dao weapon again, the heaven-swallowing jar. He was very decisive, and endless power surged on the heaven-swallowing jar. The heaven-swallowing jar emitted an extremely terrifying light, and it directly grew larger, enveloping the entire Imperial God Garden. It was obvious that Lin Xian wanted to consume all of the remaining spiritual herbs. This sudden change shocked everyone. They did not expect Lin Xian to have such a big appetite. Damn it, how dare you? The Purple Mansion's Mansion Lord was instantly enraged. Damn it! The Qilin race also roared. Although the other party had saved them previously, they had paid a price. However, they also paid a price and gave him half of the spiritual herbs. Next, they would not hold back. Attack! With a furious shout, these people attacked one after another, and they also took out their extreme Dao weapons to snatch. Damn it! The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court gritted their teeth and resisted. However, after all, there was only one extreme Dao weapon, so the blocking effect was limited. With so many extreme Dao weapons awakening together, the other ancient families had no hope. They retreated into the distance, trembling in fear. They even left the Imperial God Garden. At this moment, endless extreme Dao power erupted in the Imperial God Garden, and the weak ones all retreated. Only these Emperor race powerhouses could withstand it. Even Bai Susu and the others from the Divine Union retreated. They attacked outside the Imperial God Garden, providing power to Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian was the first to make a move, and he was the most powerful. The heaven-swallowing jar could swallow everything, so it was very effective here. More than half of the Imperial God Garden was swallowed by him. The others attacked crazily, and they even attacked the heaven-swallowing jar quickly. The heaven-swallowing jar kept shaking. Lin Wudi, don't think you can take it all for yourself. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Court despaired. Were the treasures left behind by their emperor going to be taken away by these people? No. These people knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. Dragon Emperor, come back to life. Take a look. Dragon Emperor, give us power to punish them. They don't deserve the treasures you left behind. Dragon Emperor, the Dragon Prince's enemy is here. You must kill him. The powerhouses of the 10,000 Dragon Court roared and cried. Dragon blood dripped from the dragon wood once again. Their blood fell to the ground and sank into it. No one cared. The people in front were attacking crazily, and the scene was extremely terrifying. If it wasn't for the Dragon Emperor's tomb, it would have been destroyed. Even so, it was still a huge scene. But right at this moment, the Imperial God Garden shook. What was going on? Everyone was stunned. In the next moment, they felt another wave of terrifying power sweeping out in all directions. The moment this aura appeared, everyone panicked. Could it be that the Mirage Dragon from before came out again? Damn it, they couldn't let it control them anymore. These people roared crazily. However, they soon realized that it wasn't the case. This time, it wasn't a Mirage Dragon, but a Blood Dragon. The Blood-Red Dragon roared with boundless anger between heaven and earth. At the same time, outside the Imperial God Garden, endless dragon aura and Blood Dragon gathered. This made the Blood Dragon even more terrifying. He released a terrifying aura and a terrifying attack. The Blood Dragon claw covered the sky and slashed down. It actually passed through the extreme weapons and hit these people. Instantly, the Emperor race elders spat out blood and flew backward. The Qilin son was injured, and one of the purple mansion lord's arms was broken. On the Murong Qingqing side, Yin Ruyu also retreated, blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. Chapter 5471. Lin Xian also retreated. The flames on his divine body were extinguished by the dragon claw. Damn it, what's going on? With one strike, everyone was injured. The old phoenix frowned and looked into the distance. Oh no, this is anger, the anger of the dragon clan. They used their dragon breath in exchange for a trace of the dragon emperor's aura. Together with their anger, they formed this blood dragon. If we can't calm this anger, I'm afraid we'll all be in danger. Hearing the old phoenix's words, the others also sucked in a breath of cold air. The Thousand Dragons Court was the descendant of the Dragon Emperor. The anger of these people was enough to arouse the Dragon Emperor's aura. A trace of the Dragon Emperor's aura was the true power of a great emperor, far surpassing them. All of you must die. The blood dragon emitted a terrifying killing intent. Then, it turned into countless blood-colored dragons on its body and flew in all directions. Each blood-colored dragon stared at an expert of the Imperial God Garden and began to attack the anger above. These experts' scalps went numb. They resisted with all their strength, but they were still beaten back. Damn it, if this continued, unless they completely left the Imperial God Garden, their lives would be in danger, let alone snatching the ancient herbs. Damn it, it's so terrifying. Kuan-Ping Zi and the others also frowned. In their opinion, they had extreme weapons. So what if it was the Dragon Emperor's tomb? They still dared to come in. But the real situation was not like that. Although they had extreme Dao weapons, they were only saints. Facing the methods in the tomb, they still couldn't resist. For example, they couldn't even control their extreme weapons now. They could only be hunted down by the anger of the Dragon Clan. Lin Xian and the others were also being hunted down, so they had to defend themselves. Lin Xian stretched out his big golden hand, which was like the palm of the sun god, and slapped forward. It hit the other party's body, and a deafening sound was heard. However, it only sent the blood dragon flying. Not long after, the blood dragon flew over again. Lin Xian frowned and roared. He pointed his finger like a sword and slashed open heaven and earth. He split the blood dragon in half. He snorted coldly, but the blood dragon's shattered body healed again. It's useless. I'm formed from the anger of the dragon race. I'm immortal and indestructible. As long as the anger exists, I will exist forever. The blood dragon roared crazily. A sacred ancestor from the Golden Crow clan let out a blood-curdling scream. His body was torn apart, and countless blood-colored dragons coiled around him. In the end, he died, his body and soul destroyed. Damn it! The expressions of the other two Golden Crow tribes' old ancestors became incomparably ugly. As for the people in the distance, their scalps went numb. Fortunately, they ran fast. Otherwise, they would have died. It didn't take long for a middle-aged man from the Twin of Destiny clan to be pierced through. Similarly, his soul was destroyed. Actually, it wasn't just them. Following that, the people from the Emperor clan also began to fall. The Gu family was still fine. They appeared and disappeared mysteriously as they fled frantically. The Kurenpong race and the Qilin race all had their people fall, and so did the Phoenix race. 2 experts from the Zifu sect had perished as well. The others were also heavily injured. Damn it! Retreat. The 2 old ancestors of the Golden Crow clan and the people of the Twin of Destiny clan quickly retreated. They couldn't snatch anymore. Even these Emperor clan members were shaken. Could it be that they also had to return? The Zifu sect gritted their teeth, unwilling to give up. If they stayed any longer, more experts on their side would die. The next few Emperor clan members also prepared to retreat. However, at this moment, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Not only did he not retreat, but he also walked forward again. This scene shocked everyone. What was Lin Wudi doing? Did he really think that he could fight against these blood dragons? It was useless. These blood dragons couldn't be killed. They were even more terrifying than the envoys of Mount Eternal. Seeing those people retreat, the people of the 10,000 Dragons court sneered. They finally let out a sigh of relief. Next, they would use this blood dragon to chase after the others. However, when they realized that Lin Wuti didn't retreat, but instead advanced, they were furious. They were all furious. Damn it, this Lin Wuti. Every time, it was because of him. This time, they had to destroy him. Long Mu said to the blood dragon in the sky, "Kill him and destroy his soul." The blood-colored dragon in the sky lowered its head, and a sea of blood erupted from its eyes. It engulfed everything. He glared at Lin Xian and shouted coldly, "Die, you ant!" Lin Xian snorted coldly. Facing the monstrous sea of blood, he struck out the heavens of the battle map to block it. The heavens of the battle map erupted and charged towards the blood-colored dragon. As for the surrounding blood dragons, they turned around and charged towards Lin Xian. They had received the order from the blood-colored dragon to destroy the other party's soul. Not good. Murong Qingsheng and the others were anxious. Yin Ruyu and the Crimson Dragon charged over. They blocked some of the blood-colored dragons, but more of them charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. The Taiji diagram appeared and turned into yin and yang sword energy that swept in all directions. At the same time, he also released terrifying demonic energy and turned into a demon god to fight. Monstrous demonic energy danced in the air. He blocked it. Damn it. It controlled his heaven-swallowing jar so that Lin Xian couldn't devour it. But now, it was very difficult for them to kill Lin Xian. Long Mu and the others gritted their teeth and roared again. The drop of dragon blood made the blood-colored dragon in the sky even more terrifying. In the end, many of the dragons turned into white bones. Their dragon blood was almost gone, but the blood dragon in the sky was extremely powerful. Lin Wuti, go to hell. This time, the blood dragon pounced over and blasted everything away. The heavens of the battle map was sent flying. The yin-yang diagram was sent flying, and the demonic energy that filled the sky was torn apart. The blood-colored dragon enveloped Lin Xian. In front of him, it turned into a sea of blood. Brother Xian, not good. Kid, run. Murong Qingsheng, the Crimson Dragon, and the others cried out in alarm. They also felt the power of this power. At the same time, they were sent flying by this sea of blood. They spat out large mouthfuls of blood. They were all injured. The other members of the Emperor race were the same. A few more powerhouses fell in this sea of blood. When the people outside saw this, their scalps went numb. It was over. Lin Wuti was really in danger this time. The Dragon Emperor's ancient tomb was indeed terrifying. It seemed like their path had stopped here. They could no longer move forward. These people shook their heads and sighed. The people on the Divine Union side were extremely nervous. How was Lin Xian? Even Lin Xian could feel an immense amount of pressure from this blood-colossal dragon. The anger on it was really terrifying. However, he still had a trump card. He said coldly, "Do you think I won't use the heaven-swallowing jar? I can't kill you? Ridiculous. I'll kill you today." As he spoke, he roared at the sky, and the dragon-shaped sword chi on his body kept erupting. He fought against the blood-colored dragon. At the same time, he opened the sword world and began to devour the Imperial Spirit Garden. The sword chi on Lin Xian's body turned into a sea of swords. The sea of blood and the sea of swords collided, drowning everything. No one saw the opening of the sword world, but they realized that the Imperial Spirit Garden seemed to be enveloped by an invisible force. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.